Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes. The PPT is visible.
That's good. Right. So the topic that has been given to me is a SWOC analysis for teachers. Some of you may already know what is this SWOC, or maybe you know what these letters stand for, what this abbreviation is, and then how it's relevant to teachers, college teachers. Uh, Before asking you about SWOC, I just have a few questions perhaps that are relevant in this context. Do you all want to be better teachers? Yes or no? You can type in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and speak.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Is,
sir,
is,
definitely.
is there
Yes, sir.
anyone who says, "Oh, I'm already a great teacher. There is nothing better than this. That's why there's no point in trying to be better." No, I don't think anybody will
Of
say that.
course, sir.
All yeses. I see lots of yeses there. Thank you so much. So my presentation is perhaps going to be extremely relevant to you because you have already told me that you want to be better teachers. Wonderful. The results, I mean, the answers are still pouring in. Okay. If you have decided to be better teachers, okay, I decide I want to be a better teacher, whatever I am, wherever I am, even for the best. Suppose the government has already given me a medal for being the best teacher in the college, in the university, in the state, in the country, wherever. So, whatever accomplishments I have already made, despite that, I still would like to be better than what I am today. If I decide that, when is the good time to start that? Thank you. Mark Anthony is the first to answer, and he says, "Now I agree with you." Mary Anthony, I'm sorry.
So can I say it's yesterday?
Yesterday, it is already too late, yes, but yesterday is gone. That's why we can start now. If you did not start yesterday, because yesterday is over, and no longer there is no point in repenting what we have not done, we can begin now. Yes, great. Wonderful. Thank you, Kasturi. Anyone else? When is the best time to start becoming a better teacher? Your answers in the chat box, please.
Now,
Good, good, good. Sanjeev, thank you. Mukesh says always. Wow, lovely. That's good. A good way of looking at it. Always. Any time is good time. Wow. Girija now, Aishwarya and Sapna agree
So
with Mary. Yes.
one small observation.
Yes, Mary.
After all, being humans, there are certain circumstances wherein you feel a little low, or probably there is some back end kind of an emotional stress or trauma through which you are going through.
Right.
And probably the conditions in college or where we are teaching probably also is not very welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
Probably that day itself is like starting on a very bad note.
Mm-hmm.
So things are not under control,
Right.
whether it is physical or emotional. So those situations, probably you are always good, and that becomes your testing time.
Mm-hmm.
uh, and you have a challenge in front of you, and how do you address that challenge? So that is a very dicey situation wherein you really don't know whether you have to be better then, or maybe just calm down for some time and then tackle it a little later.
That's a very profound way of looking at it, but I think there is no time when it's not the right time to start, when there is no time which is not the right time to be better and become better and try being better. In fact, if you have some low kind of a situations, if you feel distressed, frustrated, disillusioned, and you have big ambitions as a teacher, and suddenly you realize that this is not happening the way that you want, perhaps that is the right moment for you to start working on the areas in which you feel you have scope to improve, and that's the beginning. Yeah, somebody said, I don't remember the name, whenever you are ready. I don't think it's not whenever you are ready. It must be always. It must be every moment. It must be every day. So every day we must try to be better. Whatever is our condition, whatever is our mental status, whatever be our experience yesterday, whether we have succeeded or not succeeded, it's a good time to start being better. Right? So let's move on from here. And in case I want to be a better teacher, I want to start now or tomorrow, whenever you have decided, whatever be the point of time at which you would like to begin becoming better. The last question that I'd like to ask is, where do I begin? Okay, I want to be better. I want to start now. Where do I begin? What do I do to become better? Any answers? What's the first thing that we do? Maybe
Sir,
breathing
this is
in and out.
Amit Sahu. Dr. Amit
First of all,
Sahu
we
from
should cool
Odisha.
down ourselves.
Sanjeev, please. Others, please wait. Sanjeev.
Yeah, first of all, we should cool down ourselves so our mind should be in peace, and then think what to do, what to teach, and then make a strategy or outline of teaching material, whatever you have or I have, that I do, and then I go for the class.
Sanjeev's answer, very simply put in one sentence, is that we must think coolly and we must decide what are the areas in which we need to develop, and then we should work. So Mary says, have a positive outlook and then start working. Somebody else
May I,
wants?
sir?
Yeah, yes, please.
This is Dr. Amit Sahu from Ravenshaw University, Odisha.
Yes, Amit.
Sir, to be a better teacher or any, whether it's a teacher or any kind of profession or a personality, every day is a challenge for us. So we have to challenge ourselves every day. That means we have to, keep on continuously having endeavor to, learn more and more. This is how means you have to challenge what you are in yesterday and what you are today.
Correct.
You have to make a comparison constantly, then keep on improving upon what you have achieved. And
Yes, Amit, if I may summarize what Amit said, so every day, of course, is a good day, but we must accept the challenges, and then every day is a challenge. He said, I think every day is a challenge, every day is an opportunity also.
Sir, this is Mohammed
Yeah,
Zain
yes,
from
please.
Sri Ramsu Memorial University. Sir, according to me,
Yes, Mohammed. Mohammed, you need to unmute yourself. I can't hear you.
sir, we should put up some short goals in front of us, which is very light. Then only if we are going to achieve at any moment, we will have some encouragement about that. So short
Thank
goals
you.
are very much important according to me, sir.
Yeah, Mohammed says that in case we have decided to be better, so it is always a good idea to start with small goals, and maybe we can think of bigger goals later, perhaps. Right? Okay.
Hello.
Sir, okay.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Dilip, say you go ahead first.
Okay, madam. Thank you. Sir, good morning, sir. This is Dilip Tripathi from Bidipur PhD College, Odisha. Sir, what I feel is that, as you have already said, I mean, when it is the best time to start something, as you said, always it is the best time. So similarly, the precise answer should be like this: where means everywhere we can just start beginning to become a good teacher. Everywhere, wherever we do have, it should not matter to us. Second thing is how we should begin. I think again there is no, I mean, any kind of thumb rule for that. Anyhow, if we are understanding that we are lacking in certain fronts and we can adopt certain good practices and we are coming across with certain good practices which is acceptable, then obviously we must try to implement it. In that way we can start beginning to become better.
Thank you, Dilip, for that. I just would like to add one more point to that. You said there is no thumb rule, but there is a thumb rule, and that I'm going to discuss today. I'll give you some tips on that. Right. Kasturi.
Yes, sir. Sir, what I feel, what I personally feel is, we are teachers because of our students. So the moment we start understanding our students and respond to them accordingly as to what and when they need, I think that's where we begin to be a good teacher. And
Perfect.
how to do it is like, it can be as a simple gesture of say good morning first to them, instead of them waiting for them to say good morning to us or hello to us. We can just, whenever we come in eye contact with them, we can initiate the process. And I think that is one way we can start off, apart from the classroom teaching and our syllabus.
Thank you, Kasturi. You are looking at it from the student's point of view too. I appreciate that. But today, perhaps we are focusing only on ourselves. So how can I be better? This is the only question that we are asking ourselves. And we are looking at it from our own perspective. not the other multiple perspectives. Anyway, I think your point also is covered in the presentation today.
Sir, I would like to say one point that mostly we will be going and having a class, and the students, we could ask feedback from the students how well they have understood, whether there is a chance for improvement, or whole class have understood, or maybe. So if kind of a small feedback will make us understand where we need to improve.
That's
And of
wonderful.
course we can.
Debashis, feedback is the first uh, first level. So if I have some feedback, and then I can rely on that feedback and then improve myself, taking note of the points that my students have told me, my colleagues have told me, others have told me. So that feedback helps me launch myself into the journey of becoming better. Thank you, Devash.
Thank you, sir.
Mukesh, you are the last speaker.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
First, we should look for our shortcomings and limitations. Then we can decide where and how.
Thank you, Mukesh. I think that's exactly what I was looking for. You've hit the nail on its head. So that's what we are going to discuss today. And maybe we are going to cover lots of other points made by others too. So let's begin here. It's always great to make a beginning, because beginning itself is launching the journey. The moment we have started, we are going somewhere. As long as we have not started, we have sat in the same place, we are not going anywhere. It's not just thinking, but doing something. So becoming better always begins with knowing. And that knowing is not the whole world, the outside world, but knowing myself. So if I know myself, if I know where I am now, it becomes easy for me to go. Like the GPS also, when you use the GPS to decide a certain destination or whatever, the first question that it asks is, or the first question it discovers is where you are. So if you know where you are, it shows you the direction. Okay, go this lane, take this lane, go that road, buy this, whatever. And then it tells you all the supporting guiding guidelines it gives you the moment it knows where you are and where you want to go. So we need to know ourselves as teachers. As a teacher, what am I? Where am I? What am I able to do? What am I not able to do? And what are a few things that are stopping me from doing what I want to do? What are a few things that can help me do what I want to do? This is exactly the first decision that we need to take, knowing ourselves. Like all my presentations today also, I am using this three-step formula to make my presentation. All my presentations are structured on this pattern. So we will spend some time, not very much, maybe about half an hour, on knowing what this SWOC analysis is. And then we'll spend very little time, because you already seem to be very quite knowledgeable about this. I'll spend very little time, maybe 10 minutes, about why SWOC analysis. And the rest of the maybe 2.5 hours that we'll have left, we are going to discuss how are we going to do a SWOC analysis. So this is my structure, and let's go on with the first one. What is SWOC analysis? Simply put, I think these four letters SWOC stand for four words. S stands for strengths, W for weaknesses, O for opportunities, C for challenges. I'm sure you have a question at this stage. Would anybody like to ask that question? Maybe I have not made it clear. Some people call it SWOT analysis, and I am calling it SWOC analysis. Typically, teachers would like to know what is the difference. So let's not go too much into that detail. Threats perhaps is a negative kind of a connotation. And that's why people feel that a challenge is a better word, a positive word. The moment you call it something a threat, you perhaps stop working on that. And when you call it a challenge, you allow taking it. That's why the more popular abbreviation these days used is SWOC, SWOC, or four kinds of situations that we are discussing. So let me repeat. S stands for strengths, and W for weaknesses, and O for opportunities, and C for challenges. Before I move on to the next slide, let me tell you, today we are looking at our SWOC analysis only as teachers. But SWOC can be applied to us as individuals, as heads of the family, as financial managers, or it can even apply to an institution. So you can have a SWOC analysis for your college, you can have a SWOC analysis for India, you can make a SWOC analysis for any establishment of which you are a part, or as an outsider, you can attempt a SWOC analysis for an establishment outside also. So the four features are the same four things we are considering. So it is looking at ourselves from four different perspectives. That's all it is. Any questions so far? Thank you. Let's move on. So what is a strength? Before I show you the slide, would anybody like to tell me what's a strength? Unmute yourselves. One or two answers.
In front of it is a pawn, and shadow is like a king. According to the chess dice, yeah, I think it means it has is something inner meaning that you might be now you are standing in a position, but your thinking is supposed to be very, very high. That's what you want to mean here. I think so.
Okay. Anybody else? What is his strength?
Sir, this is Shebonti. Okay. I think strength, yes, sir. I think strength is a state of mind. Once we start feeling that, yes, we have the strength, then we can actually put that strength into practice.
Great, great. Dilip, would you like to speak?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, what I feel is that when we are talking about strength, we must introspect. When we introspect, we will be able to know what are the attributes which can be generally taken as the positive attributes of a human being, and we can also concentrate on our talent, skills, etc., which will be giving us better, edge over others. So in comparison to others, if we do have certain exceptional qualities, we can always say that those are our strengths.
Okay, thank you. Sir. I think you're talking more about the process of finding the strengths than what is strength is. But anyway, Mary said where we have positive outlook, and Vijayashri said time management, lesson planning. These are examples of strength, I think, not what,
anything that makes your job easy.
Lovely. Good. Anything that makes your job easy is strength. That's a lovely way of putting it, an easy way of putting it. Let me show you what I have written there. I would like to define a strength in just 3 points. The first one, a strength is either a capability or a resource. A capability is something that you can do, and a resource is something that you have. So if you have something, or if you can do something effectively, that's a strength. And the second point that you need to remember is that a strength is already with you. It's not something that you're going to acquire tomorrow. It's not something that you think you have, or it's not something somebody is going to give you, but it is something that's already, you have it already, or you know it already, you can do it already. So the second condition. The last condition is very important. This becomes a strength only if it helps you achieve your desired goals. I want to do something, and this ability or this resource that I have helps me move in that direction, achieve my goal. Only then it becomes a strength. Otherwise, just is there, that's all. I'll give you an example. Suppose I speak good English. So I already can speak English. That's a capability, that's a skill that I have. And because this skill is already with me, I have it. And I would like to become an English teacher, or I would like to work in English medium institution where English is, essential. Knowledge of English is essential. Then it becomes a strength. Till then, I know English, my English is good, but I think it's not put to any use. It does not relate to me, relate to my goal. So till then, it is not a strength, it's just a skill. So distinguish between a skill and a strength. A skill is something that you have. You have lots of things with you. You have lots of skills, but all these skills perhaps are not helping you reach your goals academically. As a teacher, I'm sure all of you have some academic goals. As teachers, you would like to achieve something for yourself, for your students, for your college, for the Department of Education, for the community, and for the whole world. So whatever that goal that you have set for yourself is, if the skill that you already have is helping you move in that direction, it becomes a strength. Till then, skills remain skills. Is the distinction clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. If I have 1,000 rupees in my purse, this is an ownership. This is a resource that I have. But suppose this 1,000 rupees is spent to achieve a goal. It's not going to be wasted, right? I'm not going to throw away this money. I'm not going to spend it on things that are not relevant to achieve my goals, but I still spend it. So it does not become a strength. This 1,000 rupees becomes your strength when it meets any of your goals. For instance, I am hungry, I would like to eat and fill my stomach, and I buy something to eat, then it has become a strength. That 1,000 rupees has become my strength. Suppose I am hungry, but I go to a movie. So that means the money, the resource is there. It's not a strength, it's a possession. It's a resource. We'll go into more details later. Perhaps I think some light has been thrown on that, and then maybe you are getting to become clearer about that. Let's just go to the next one, and then after I discuss all these 4 things with you, maybe we'll have some time to discuss. I think you can easily guess what a weakness is now. Can anybody tell me? One of you, any one of you?
So weakness would of course be opposite of strength,
That's all.
which will restrict us or does not help us, achieve our
Excellent.
desired goals.
Perfect, excellent. So from the previous slide, we understood what strength is. An exact opposite of that is a weakness. So a weakness is internal. That means it's already with me. It's inside me. And it is preventing me from achieving my goal. I want to achieve something, but because I have something or I do not have something, that it's stopping me from going my way. The journey that I would like to launch to achieve my goals is becoming not possible. Why? Because there is a barrier inside me. Barrier means a wall, an internal wall, a wall that I've constructed for myself. I want to work at an English medium institute, but my English is bad. If my English is bad, I did not improve my English, and my lack of English, my inability to express myself in good English, is standing as a barrier in the process of becoming a teacher that I want to be, an academic career that I'd like to launch on. So this is again internal. Strengths are internal, weaknesses are also internal. I am responsible for them, and that's stopping me. It can be a resource, it can be again a skill, so a skill that you lack, or a resource that I lack. I do not have this, or something that I have which is working as some kind of an inhibition, right? That is stopping me from achieving my goals. Let's move on quickly. What is an opportunity? Anybody? One answer, please.
So opportunity is somewhere which helps you use your strengths in order to achieve your desired goals. The place where you can utilize your strengths or skills.
Suppose you do not have any strengths at all, still do you have opportunities?
Yes, of course, if we are able to work on our weaknesses, work upon our weaknesses.
So it has nothing to do with your strengths and weaknesses. It is something that is outside. So this is an external situation. It's not because of you, it's because of the world. The world has thrown something to you, at you, and then you can utilize this. You can make the most of this opportunity, provided you know how to leverage that. See, somebody said opportunities keep knocking at the door, but we must keep the door closed or open or whatever, depending on the situation, and we must accept it. Only when I accept it, it becomes an opportunity. It's not something that you already have. It's unlike the strength or weakness, which are already with you. Opportunities are for tomorrow. Opportunities are for the next year. Opportunities for the next minute. So it's a minute later. I don't have it with me. Right? There is an English institute outside. Right? I can go there, join there, and I can learn and improve my English. That's my opportunity. There is a good book in the library on how to learn English, and that's my opportunity. I have not laid my hand on it yet, or maybe I've just taken the book and then I'm going through this. If I use this book, my English may improve. So this is not something with me already. and it is something in the outside world. It gives me an advantage over others, a competitive advantage, on condition that I leverage. Leverage means utilize it properly, exploit it, use it. So if I know how to use it, it is an opportunity. And remember, the important word is external. It's not within me. I'm not responsible. I've not created it. I'm not responsible. The world has given it to me. The college has given it to me. Right? My family has given it to me. Somebody else has given it. The government has given it to me. Okay? So that is an opportunity. Any questions? Good. So let's go on to the last one, a challenge. Again, a challenge is some way an opposite of an opportunity. A challenge is again an external situation outside me, and it can or it could damage the scope of my success if I do not know how to prevent it, if I do not know how to leverage it, if I don't do anything, if I just sit back and lay there idle, maybe it can affect my success. It can prevent my success. Again, this is an external situation. Right? I want to learn English, but there is no English institute around, or there are no books there available in the library to improve my English. There is nobody to teach me. So that's an external situation. I am not responsible for that. Okay, but the world has not given me that opportunity, or has not given me that situation where I can help, or the world is actually working against me. You see a picture there on the screen. What is that? What is that picture of?
Is it coronavirus?
Yes, yes. So challenge is corona. I did not create it. I am not responsible for that. The world threw it at me. The world hurled it at me, and then I am taken unawares. I was not ready to face it. And because of that, so it affected my success. For 2 years, we had to sit at home, and then we had to go to some kind of a lockup at home. And then all kinds of things happened because of that external situation over which I did not have any control. The control that I could have was wearing a mask or whatever, taking some preventive drugs and all that. I need to take that. If I did not take that, it could pounce on me. It could affect my possibilities for success. Maybe I'll show the next slide and stop there for a minute, and then you can tell me if you ask me any questions. So what we have done so far is looking at all these four and then defining them and putting them in the right perspective so that it becomes easier for us to follow the rest of my presentation. So SWOC refers to strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And as the picture can indicate, as the picture shows you, the strengths and weaknesses are inside you. Right? Strengths are positive, weaknesses are negative. Both are inherent. They are inside you. Inherent means inside. Strengths are inside you, weaknesses are inside you. And strengths are green color, and that's good. And these weaknesses are bad. And what do they relate to? They relate to your resources, they relate to your performance, they relate to your capabilities, your skills, your values, your goals, and all these things as a teacher. And what about the next one? The opportunities and threats, where are they? They are outside you, outside the circle. That means you have limited or no control over them. Opportunities are outside and challenges are outside. Opportunities are positive, but potentially positive. Unused, they are just there. Used and exploited, they are opportunities. Challenges, unused are, if you just, sit idle, they can pounce upon you, they can trouble you, they can harass you, they can create havoc in your career. And they're potentially bad. If I don't do anything, they're bad. If I do something to prevent them, or if I know how to tackle them, if I know how to attack them, how to preempt them, I think no problem. Even challenges I can overcome. And what do the opportunities and challenges relate to? They relate to legislative policies, the competitive environment outside, what the others are doing, the demographics, the environment, politics, policies, economics, and geography, everything that's happening outside. outside me. Anything that's happening outside me can be either an opportunity if it's positive or a challenge if it's negative. It can be bad. So challenges can be bad to me. How? If I don't do anything to prevent them. Some, if you know the preventive measures, some can be stopped. Of course, some you have zero control over them. Right? So I'll stop here for a minute. If you have any questions or any comments or anything you would like to add, please let me know.
Sir, this is Amit.
Yes, please.
Sir, I want to say one thing is that, our weakness and strength actually determines whether the opportunity is a challenge or not. Sometimes, if I'm skillful, that is, I give an analogy kind of thing. In cricket, let's say Virendra Sehwag is a hard-hitting batsman, right? I'm sorry to give this a very crude example, though. He going Australia in a very different pitch, which is very different from the subcontinent pitch, but he performed well there because his strength is to hit hard the pace bowling attack. Okay, so that this challenge of bouncing wicket become an opportunity for him because of his skills. So our skills, our what is that called? Our inner strength that makes us, to identify whether that challenge is an opportunity or not.
Thank you very much. I think that's a good question and also a good example. It's not a crude example, certainly it's a good example, but we'll discuss that in the course. I think this question is going to be answered very soon. Aishwarya, do you have a question?
No, sir.
Oh, thank you, sir. Right, let's move on. I told you that I'll spend a little time on, we discussed already what SWOC is, and we are going to discuss this. I'm sorry, maybe you can answer this question to check whether you have clearly understood these four terms. So you can just write the first letter. I'm going to show you a question and a situation rather, not a question. So if you think that statement is a strength, a weakness, a opportunity, or challenge, and then ask yourself, and you can write the first letter in the chat box. S for strength, W for weakness, O for opportunity. You need not type the whole spelling. The first letter is enough. The situation is there is a teacher who left the university nearly 5 to 10, 20 years ago and has not upskilled, updated, did nothing academically. Sonmong, Uma, and Aishwarya, and Sapna, Gandhimati, and Sumana, Sabondi, Jakia, Amuta. Because if I am not able to pronounce your names properly, please excuse me. Sasi Kumar, Upasana, Ritu, Hungrayon, sorry, Devashish, Kirija. I think most of you, I think except one, every one of you has given the correct answer. There is one. Who is that? It is Mukesh Sharma. I invite him. Mukesh, will you please unmute yourself? Mukesh, are you there? Why do you think it's an opportunity? Mukesh, are you there? Mary, why do you think it's a challenge?
Sir, in today's world, as we are seeing, technology invasion is too high. And we need to keep changing. And we are also seeing that previously generation gap was like, if you say 30 years, 20 years also, it was acceptable. But today we see that for every 5 years, there is a generation gap. The way that students think, they perceive, and what they expect from you. It's no longer the teacher word which stands alone. We have to be everything for them. That is how they are looking at. And probably we are not able to live up to that kind of a dynamic. situation. So I think if you don't upgrade and if you don't get your skills in its right place, you're not going to update yourself the way the students are updating themselves, then that surely is going to be a challenge in a classroom to handle. Say you have a 60 crowd, it becomes a huge challenge for the teacher to even manage that 50 minutes of class. Manage in the sense all perspective, that is your teaching. Are you expecting the student to learn? Are you going to make it interactive? Is there some concept which has been shared, which has been
Mary,
assimilated?
sorry for stopping you. I'm sorry for stopping you. The situation is something where the last 10 years, I have not done anything to academically update myself. Am I responsible for this, or is the world responsible for this?
I am totally responsible for
That's
that.
all. So if I am responsible, it's a weakness rather than a challenge. So if the world has made it compulsory for me, or I have zero control over that, perhaps then that I would call it a challenge. So maybe what your I agree with your perspective. Well, this can be a challenge. This can lead to a challenge because I am not equipped. But as of now, because it's internal, it's my problem, right? I did not do anything to upskill myself, and I had maybe some inhibition, some reservation, some problem, and because of that, I did not do anything. I thought my PhD was enough, my post graduation was enough, and I was a very highly contented and relaxed and sat back all these years. Nothing. As a teacher, how can I remain unupskilled? I think that's my problem. So I think it's a weakness. I think 99% of you have given the correct answer. Thank you very much. And those who gave a different answer, perhaps have their own reasons, no problem at all. And we'll see one or two more examples to make it a little more clear. Right. My question number 2. Again, the same thing. You have to write the first letter to check whether this situation is going to be again our strength or a weakness or an opportunity or challenge. The situation is there is a new university coming in my locality or somewhere, is looking for experienced teachers like you. You are an experienced teacher and the university is looking for you. Good. Devashis, Pauson, Kasturi, Aishwarya, Manna Chibra, Upasna, Sabanti, Shashi Kumar, Uma, Mary, Umbrella, and Gandhimati, Sapna, Mont. I think all of you are writing opportunity. Total 100%. I agree with you. There is no dissent. There is no other answer. That's why I don't think we need to discuss this. I am already an experienced teacher. There is another university. That means an opportunity, something that I have not created. Somebody opened the university. The government opened another university. I have an opportunity. Luckily, there also. If I use it, it's different. Even if I don't use it, also, it's still an opportunity. Right? Of course, if I leverage it, it becomes a real good opportunity for me. But there is an opportunity. Whether I use it or not, that's a different thing. So I am going to apply for that. Fine. That's my opportunity. A third question, again, the same rule, write any one of these letters. But I think it's becoming increasingly difficult. The third question is slightly more difficult than the first one. Periodic skills upgradation will soon be mandatory, compulsory for all the in-service teachers like you. Every year, every 2 years, every 6 months, the government says that you must upskill yourself. See. Everybody says see. Okay. Challenge. Good. One, Sebanti, if you are there, please unmute yourself and tell us why do you think it's an opportunity?
So, because with the changing times, I think skill upgradation is important. So, since this is not within my control, it has been imposed from the outside. Yet, if I accept it as an opportunity, I can upgrade myself, and that will add to my strength in the long run.
Wonderful. Yeah. I think I agree with you. Basically, it's a challenge because I need to keep myself on my tiptoes, and then I need to constantly upgrade myself for many people who do not or who are not prepared for this kind of regular, periodic upskilling mandatory. It's a challenge, but if there are some people like Sevanti who think that here is an opportunity for me, oh, this is good, government is making it compulsory now, at least for the sake of that, I am going to upskill myself. it can be an opportunity. So it depends upon how we look at it. It can be both an opportunity and a challenge depending upon our perspective. For most of us, I'm already a postgraduate, I'm a PhD, I've got a job and I'm doing my job well. I've already so many pressures, and then another upgradation commitment, which is going to be compulsory, not out of passion, but because it's compulsory, I need to do. So it looks like a challenge. But for people like Sevanti, I think it's an opportunity because yes, it's good. So I can, at least for the sake of meeting the government mandate, so I'll upskill myself. That's good. The last one, the fourth question, much more difficult. Please don't respond immediately. Think for a minute, apply your mind to it, and tell me what it is. The last one. Your personal library has less volumes of books than many of your colleagues have got. So in your own department, there are other colleagues who have many books in their personal libraries. You do not have as many. Yeah, answers. Dilip says it's a weakness. And Jakia says it's a challenge. And Gandhimati says,
I think, sir, it is not a weakness, neither strength, neither opportunity, neither challenge. None of
Sanjeev,
it.
let's discuss that. Thank you very much for that input. Devashi's opportunity, Girija, weakness, Vishwanath, weakness, and Umbre, weakness, Sapna, weakness, Mary, opportunity, Aishwarya, weakness and challenge, good. Sebanti says weakness, and then Ajay Kumar says weakness, Mitali says weakness, Sumana says weakness, good. I am happy with your participation. Everybody is contributing. Thank you so much. I totally agree with Sanjeev, but let me explain why. Okay, let's look at it from different perspectives. Suppose I am a physics teacher and I have 100 books in my personal library. My neighbor has 500 books in his personal library. How does it relate? I mean, whether he has 500 books or 1,000 books or 5,000 books is is of no relevance to me, because they are not my books. They are his books. They are in his domain. I have 100 books. If I think these 100 books are useful to me and I already have them, they are a resource, I can call it a strength. If suppose I have 100 books which relate to my subject physics, he has 10,000 books which are not maybe the subject related. They are general books. I did not tell you clearly what kind of books they are. So they may be novels, they may be unrelated things that are not related to his academic career. So again, it cannot be a comparison. Or I have 100 books and he has 500 physics books only, but I read them, he doesn't read them. How does it compare? It doesn't. So what Sanjeev was trying to tell you and what I am trying to tell you now is that this is a situation where you are trying to compare your position with somebody else. SWOC does not do that. So SWOC is not a comparative statement. SWOC is not a comparative analysis. So you are not putting yourself against somebody else and then checking whether they have that and I don't have it. So it's not that. It is a self-analysis. So as far as I am concerned, I have 100 books. This can be a strength. I don't think anybody can say it's a weakness. Whatever kind of books they are, I have in my personal library are a kind of strength. That's all, irrespective of what the others have. And it can be an opportunity to me because I can read them. They are always available to me. They are just in the almirah. I can just stretch my hand and pick up a book and read. And that's why it can be an opportunity also. Right? And so it is a situation which cannot be looked at from the SWOC point of view, or you must have more data to analyze it. So what kind of books are they? Are you reading them or not? What are you using them for? How your goals are going to be met because you're going to read these books or you've already read the books. So I have 100 books. I've already read 50 of them and I have enough information about what's written in these books, and then this is going to be helpful to my teacher career. So if you have all this information, then you can decide which one of the four it is. I think you would like to ask me some questions at this point.
Sir, I would like to add upon to this that with slowly as we are moving towards the digital world, I myself personally have several GBs of books, and when I inquire with the students, they have each and every book as a digital copy available. Hardly any student is visiting our library, which is filled with books. So there is a change in the paradigm. And also, when I try to search any book, it is already available in the Google as a digital copy. So there is less and less requirement for faculties to get data from the hard copy book. It is actually very easily available at the tip of our Google search, whatever we want, actually that page itself. So maybe that is another reason why the libraries are not being, they are getting converted as a digital form.
Devashish, you are going into a different domain altogether. So suppose these fewer volumes or higher number of volumes that you have are digital books. I did not say whether they are digital books or physical books or what kind of books they are. I have some books either in the digital format or in the physical format in my library or my study table, wherever. So whatever. So I have some. So I can consider it as a strength if they are useful to me to achieve a goal that I've set for myself. Isn't it?
Yes.
So the definition that we say, it is a resource, a strength is a resource that I have, and it helps me achieve something for myself. It helps me reach my goal. So then it's a strength. So if they're books, digital, physical, whatever, if I read these books, if I benefit from them, if I use them to achieve a goal that I've set for myself, then the books are going to be a strength. So
Yes.
irrespective of what others have.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. One more question. Anyone else? Or comment? Any other comment?
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Sir,
Dilip. Yes.
yes, as you have explained that basically when we are talking about strengths and weaknesses, they are related to the resources. So when we do have the scarcity of the resources, I'm not saying in terms of comparison. So if we are just taking it in straightforward way, in the straight jacket, then we are basically understanding that yes, it is some sort of resource scarcity. So in comparison to others, maybe it is very useful, or whether they do have some kind of books which are not useful. I do have most of the useful books. That hardly does matter in this context of the question. The question, if it will be having one more choice like none of these, then it would have been better, I think.
Thank you. I'll do it next time. But I wanted to, I gave you a hint that it's going to be a little more difficult to apply your mind. And also I told you that please don't jump to a conclusion. I gave you a hint.
Thank
Anyway,
you, sir.
thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Kasturi, you have raised your hand.
Yes, sir. Sir, I don't know, but I'm a little confused. Like we are talking about strengths, like the SWOC part. By definition was, I know it, but somewhere while you were speaking about everything, what if we are not ourselves aware of our strengths and weaknesses? You said this is very internal. Opportunities and challenges part, I get it. But what we don't understand ourselves about our strengths and weaknesses, how do we navigate in those circumstances?
I will answer that question in the next slide. But for the time being, if I do not know my strengths, I mean, they're just lying there unutilized. It's just like a book that I have not read. I bought the book. I kept it in the shelf. I have not used it. I can speak good English, but I don't open my mouth. Right, isn't it? So strengths can remain. That's why I said strengths become strengths only if you utilize them to achieve your goals. Till then, they just are skills.
That was the easiest way to understand, sir. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Right. Let's move on. Thank you. Wonderful. Yeah, I think these are one of the most brilliant batches that I'm addressing. Very, very interactive. I'm very happy. Right. So I'll leave this because some examples we have done. There are a few more examples. That's all. We'll go on to the second part of my presentation. What we have seen, and let's go on to why. Why do we need? I think the answers are very, very, very obvious. I'm sure you know I don't need to spend much time on this, but still, let me just ask you this question. If I know my strengths, what do I do with that? If I know my weaknesses, how are they helpful to me? If I know my opportunities and challenges, what advantage do I have? Why do we need this? One or two answers, please. If I know my strengths, what's the use?
Sir, hello.
Dilip,
Can
please.
I speak? Can I speak, sir?
Yes, please.
Yes. What I feel is that I can just use my potential in the best possible manner.
So that's all. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. If you know your strengths, you can utilize them. Good.
Sir, in the beginning of your slide, you had mentioned that it is when to become better and how. So probably doing this somewhere answers to that first slide of ours.
Perfect, Mary. Excellent. Thank you very much for recalling that. So I began my presentation by
So,
asking you. Yes,
so
Nidhi.
while knowing our strength, it will help us it will help us to make more confident. And when we are more confident, and anyone or any student who doesn't has that strength, I can help him to develop that strength because I possess it.
Thank you, Ritu. Mukesh also said something similar in the chat box. Very good, wonderful. So let me show you the answers. The answers, once I know my strengths, I can capitalize on them. Capitalize means to utilize them, to use them properly, to put them to good use so that I can become a better teacher, which was my the first goal. So when I decided to become a better teacher, so one of the things that I needed to do was to know my strengths and further build on them. Capitalize means to further build, enhance their quality, right? To refine, to improve, to enhance the quality of my strengths. And if I know my weaknesses, I can have a strategy to overcome them. So I need to overcome my weakness. I cannot just sleep over my weaknesses. I cannot just be frustrated because I have these weaknesses. Oh, I cannot speak in good English. That's why, oh, this is all I can do. No, this is my weakness. No, I must have a way to overcome that. I must have a strategy to overcome that. That's weaknesses. The third one, opportunities. If I know my opportunities, what's there outside the door, if I know, I can exploit that. Suppose I keep my door always shut and I never open that and I never know what they are or what's waiting outside, I cannot exploit them. Knowing opportunities helps me exploit. Exploit means positive mean. Exploit has a negative connotation also. Here exploit means utilize, use them. And if I know what are the challenges likely to be there ahead, I can survive them. I can have a plan, a strategy to meet them when they happen. I can have a preemptive strategy to get ready to face them when they happen, right? Because opportunities or challenges, I told you, are for tomorrow. Strengths and weaknesses are today, right? And most importantly, I can be a proactive person. Proactive is the opposite of reactive. Reactive means I respond after something happens. That's reactive. If you hit me, I hit you back. That is response. But if you are planning to hit me, I save myself before you hit me. That is proactive. Pro means before. Proactive. So being proactive, and I can take better decisions, which will help me progress in my career, achieve my goals, to help me take better decisions. There is a picture on the left side. Can anybody explain that picture to me? Anyone who knows chess?
When the
Mukesh,
we
please.
move the
Mukesh?
pawn, it move the pawn slowly to the end of other board, then it become king, queen.
Ah. But how does it relate here?
Sir, may I?
Yes, please.
Sir, actually, in chess, we need to follow some rules and regulation to make our movements. Same way, in order to to achieve a greater levels, we need to have some strategies, some goals, and some vision over that to achieve it.
Okay. Let me ask you some leading questions so that you will understand this better. What are the strengths of a pawn on a chessboard?
It can move in every direction.
It can move in not in every direction,
Like
only two different directions.
Yeah.
Diagonally or
One
straight
front
forward.
direction it can move.
Yeah, it can move in two different directions, either straight forward or diagonally. When it kills another piece on the chessboard, it works
Yeah.
diagonally. Otherwise, it moves straight.
Right,
What are the
correct.
other strengths? Is there any other strength? It can give a check even to the king. it can kill any piece, whether it's a queen or whatever. So it is so powerful. Though it's a pawn, the pawn can kill the queen. The pawn can kill anybody for that matter. So it has that strength. What is its weakness?
So that it can move in only two directions.
That's all. That's all. It can move only two ways, and only one way in certain situations. One way in certain situations. Another way. It cannot move both the directions. So and it cannot be rook. It cannot be like the queen. It cannot be like any other piece. So it has some limited functions, limited strengths. So that's why it's a weakness. For instance, when there is another chess piece in front of it, it cannot kill it. Only it can kill only diagonally. Right. So that is its weakness. What are its opportunities?
So when someone comes diagonally,
that's an opportunity.
then
And the
it
most
can kill.
important opportunity is every pawn has the potential to become a queen. On condition, the condition is it should reach the other end of the chessboard. On reaching the other end of the board, every pawn has the potential. Potential is not what you already have. Potential is tomorrow. Intrinsic ability is already there with you. Potential ability is there going to be tomorrow. If you exercise some restraint, if you follow some rules, and if circumstances favor you, if everything comes in your direction, and then I think then you have that opportunity. So a pawn has the opportunity to go and become a queen, but it does not mean that every pawn will become a queen. There is a library in your college. There are 500 books in the library. The opportunity of the library, the doors of the library are open to every teacher. But some teachers use that, some teachers don't use that. To those who use the library, it's an opportunity. To those who don't use the library, it's nothing. The library is just there. It's a situation, that's all. It's neither a strength, nor a weakness, nor an opportunity, nor a challenger, or nothing. The library is just there. It's a building. It's just a block of the building. But if I go and sit there and borrow and then use it and then use the books there, the library is my opportunity. External, potential, good for tomorrow opportunity created by the college. I think that example perhaps makes it a little clearer to you. So every pawn has the potential to become a queen. That's the opportunity. What is the challenge? It can get killed on the way. It's very easy. I think typically if you watch chess, hardly ever a pawn rises to the level of becoming a queen. Hardly. I don't think if you watch 100 games of chess, perhaps there is one instance you might have seen when a pawn really became a queen. Because, I mean, this situation is rare. A pawn does not typically advance that far. Somebody kills it on the way. It gets killed. Sometimes it sacrifices itself. Sometimes, I mean, let's not go into chess and then discuss that. But there are lots of challenges that it faces. So, a pawn on the chessboard has all the four strengths and weaknesses and opportunities and challenges. Similarly, a teacher working in a certain college or university has all the four. You have your own strengths, utilized or unutilized. If you are not utilized them, they are just skills, as I told you. Weaknesses, there are some things that are stopping you from achieving what you want to achieve. They are your weaknesses. Though you have something, or because you do not have something, your progress is curtailed. That is your weakness. And then you have lots of opportunities. The playground in your college perhaps is your opportunity to build your good healthy body. There's a playground, you can play a game after the college hours, and then that is an opportunity waiting for you, inviting you, welcoming you, if you use that. So the playground is there, but I don't go there. I never play a game. I don't keep myself physically fit. So that opportunity is lost or unutilized. So that is not an opportunity at all. Similarly, a challenge. So there is something that can prevent my progress, that can stop me in the way of my progress, and that can deny me a positive future. So that can be a challenge. I think, am I making it a little more complicated or easier? I don't know. Have I made it easier for you to understand?
Yes, sir. Excellent, sir. Excellent.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you so much. Because many people
Yes.
mistake skills for strengths, skills for opportunities, and that's why I'm taking so much time to explain them to you. Right. Okay, good. Let's move on. The last part, I told you this is the most important and the most difficult part of it. And if you can learn from this, I think it will be a great way to help yourself become better teachers in your career. So how do we go about this analysis? So far we have done only SWOC, not SWOC analysis. So we have seen what is SWOC, why is SWOC, but now we are going to see how to analyze this. How somebody asked me this question already, said, how do I know my strengths, and is there a way I can have a strategy to work on my strengths, etc. So perhaps we'll start answering those questions now. I think I answer all your questions by showing you this one simple slide. The only and the most, the easiest and the best way of doing your SWOC analysis is to ask yourself lots of questions, lots of good questions, lots of right questions. The more questions you ask yourself, you know your SWOC better. It's not something that suddenly you become aware of. You just sleep and wake up and then you suddenly realize what your SWOC are. No, it does not happen like that. It needs a careful analysis. And this analysis happens in the form of questions and answers. The more questions that I'm asking myself, the better my SWOC analysis is. Okay, let me just first take a look at how do I analyze my strengths, the first part of it. I think there are lots of questions on the screen. Maybe silently you can read them. You can take 1 or 2 minutes to read silently. Okay, I think answers to any one of these questions, all these questions, every answer that you get is a strength of yours. Each question answers your strengths. Each question, the responses to these questions are your strengths. Let's take a look at some of them, if not all. What are your unique skills? Unique means something that only you have, not everybody. So if you speak English, perhaps it's okay, but if you speak English better than all your colleagues, it's a very unique skill. If you do something that others also do, but you do it the best, or something that you have, you speak French, but no other colleague of yours speaks French, and the college needs a French lecturer. The college is looking for somebody who speaks French. They are looking for somebody who can be sent to France on an assignment. And if you know a little French, perhaps the college thinks that you have an advantage. So because you already know a little French, this is a unique skill that you have. Something that you can do, your colleagues cannot do equally well. Aishwarya, do you have a question?
No, sir.
Whatever are the skills that you only you possess, or you possess in a greater measure than others, or you have an advantage over others, the qualifications, for instance. Perhaps you're the only PhD in your college. Perhaps you're the only double PhD in your college. Perhaps you're the only PhD guide in your college. Perhaps you have a lot of knowledge which others do not have. Perhaps you are an avid reader, and then you've gained so much profound knowledge into some latest development in your subject that others are not equally conversant with. Suppose you've read the latest journals in your subject, and then you are equipped with something that's happening as of now. I think all these are things that you have an advantage over others, and they are personal. They are inside you now. They're already with you. These skills are already with you. These resources are already with you. And you are responsible for that. Nobody gave them to you. You gave them yourself. It's your effort that has yielded these dividends, and that's why they are your strengths. Look at the second one. What do you do better than anyone else? Simple. What unique resources can you access? Simple. What do people praise you for? A wonderful, easy tip. Somebody talked about feedback earlier. I think when I asked you an earlier question, somebody said, so feedback is the beginning. I think that's a wonderful input. So how do I know my strengths? If 10 students have praised me, not flattered me, there is a lot of difference between praise and flattery. I think you know the difference. Flattery is empty. I need not trust that. If somebody calls me very handsome like a film actor, that's flattery. If somebody tells me, sir, you teach well, I think your ability to explain is good, maybe I can take at least a part of it is acceptable. And then because 10 people told me that I have this skill, that is my strength. If 10 students tell me, sir, you speak good English, your pronunciation is good, or maybe your accent is good, or your body language is good. Suppose people tell me. So from this feedback that I get, from the inputs that I get from others, my students, my colleagues, my friends, my fellow teachers, my principal, my management, parents, whoever I mean. So if the best thing is to listen to your children at home. If you have children, the children are the best judges of you. They tell you very frankly, mom, this is bad, dad, I don't like this, and dad, you do this well, dad, you don't do this well. They are very frank because I mean they don't have any inhibitions, unlike others. So your parents also very often they tell you very frankly, typically they point out the things that you're not very good with, and then they are some kind of a mirror to you. They help you. You do this well, and you can improve on this. Okay, so the feedback that you get from other people, positive feedback, is your strength. So what are the things that my students have praised me for? Ask myself. So this question, suppose I have one answer, that one is my strength. If I have 10 answers there, those 10 are my strengths. So ask yourself, have students ever praised you for anything? And is that just one student or many students? Is that just one time or many times happening? If it's happening many times, there is every reason for me to believe that there is some truth in that. One can mislead me, but many cannot mislead me. So what do people praise you for? Ask yourself, and all the answers that you find there are your strengths. What achievements are you proud of? The medals that you won, the recognitions that you've received, the appreciation that people gave you, the achievements, academic, I am talking about academic achievement. The academic achievements you made, you went and presented a paper somewhere, and you gave a seminar, you organized an convention, you organized a workshop for teachers, you helped other teachers improve. And I mean, these are all wonderful academic achievements. I think, unfortunately, many teachers limit themselves to the minimum responsibilities that they are given as teachers. What is the minimum that I need to do? So I have to teach and ensure that my students pass the examination, and that's the end of it. My students have passed the exam, my job is over. Some teachers don't stop there. Right? Okay, I'm a teacher, I'm doing my job in the classroom. Let me do something outside also. Let me do outside for my colleagues also. Let me do outside for similar teachers in other colleges also. Let me expand my horizons. Let me go and present a paper. Let me organize a workshop for other teachers. Let me invite them to my college. Some such thing. So they think of broadening their horizons, their workspace. So such achievements, if you are proud of them, I think they are your strengths. And even your values are your strengths. So for instance, punctuality. I'm a very punctual teacher. I never miss a class. I never go late. I never leave a class beyond the scheduled time. And then I always work according to a schedule, and I go according to a plan. So if you have such values, these values also are your strengths. So values, we began by telling ourselves that values are either resources or capabilities, skills, abilities, capabilities, skills together, one set of them. And resources, human resources, physical resources. But human resources also are strengths. Suppose I have a very helpful husband, wife, whoever, that also can be a strength. Suppose I have very highly educated parents or supportive parents, that also is a strength. Suppose I have a wonderful climate in my department, all colleagues work together, we help each other, we work like a team, and every teacher helps every other teacher. I think that's a wonderful strength because you already have this access to a resource, mentorship. Somebody can be your mentor, you can be somebody's mentor. Don't think that internal means, it does not mean inside your body. Sometimes in my home also is internal. In my college also is internal. In my country also is internal. They are already with me. Okay? Let me just move. I'll stop after showing the next two slides, and then I'll give you time for questions. So these are some a list of some strengths. It does not mean that is a comprehensive, complete list, but maybe some things that I received from teachers. Like whenever I went to places like this, and then I collected the answers that teachers gave me, and whatever I liked, I put them in this list. Can somebody unmute yourself and please read that list? Any one of you?
So,
Yeah.
may I?
Yes, please, Jakia.
Typical strengths: knowledgeable, healthy, enthusiastic, adaptable, organized, fluent, humble, observant, imaginative, practical, punctual, focused, cooperative, creative, artistic, empathetic, cheerful, intelligent, unbiased, open-minded, optimistic, responsible, self-confident, friendly, energetic, witty, courageous, skilled, persuasive, and tech-savvy.
Thank you very much, Zakia. You've done a great job. That's wonderful. These are all adjectives. I've deliberately put them in the form of adjectives because they're qualities, but you can convert them into nouns. For instance, instead of saying friendly, if you have lots of good friends, that's a strength. Good, helpful, supportive friends. Friends are a strength because I already have them. They are my resources. Friends can be your resources. So two things we said, capabilities and resources are your strengths. So friends are, don't think, sir, friends are external. They are external, but they can be a strength if you already have them with you. These are 10 people are my friends and they are always willing to help me. They are extremely supportive. They are knowledgeable. They are kind. They are empathetic. And then whenever I have a question, I go to them because this resource is readily available to me and it's already available to me. It is an internal factor now, no longer external. So that's why it's a strength. So every one of those qualities can be converted into noun, and then you can consider them as resources. As adjectives, they are qualities. So if you yourself are or any one of these qualities, they could be your strengths, provided you use them. If you don't use them, they're not your strength, they're only skills. Humble, being humble. Humble, the noun form is humility. So if you have humility, I think that's a great virtue for a teacher. Whatever you know, however highly qualified you are, however great a teacher you are, last year you were adjudged the best teacher in your college and you won 5 gold medals, but still if you are humble, it's a great virtue. It's a strength. Yeah, any questions about this slide? Or any word that you do not understand from the teacher's perspective? Not the word meanings, but teacher qualities. Thank you. I'm very happy that all of you are comfortable with that. So this is a very limited list. This is not a long list. This is a limited list of the qualities that work well, that are good to us if we have them. If we don't have them, that's a different story. But if I have them, they can work as my strengths. Okay. The last slide in the series, some sample strengths. So if a teacher says, can I have somebody else to read this?
May I, sir?
Yes, Kasturi.
I have a passion for teaching. I have excellent communication skills. I have good interpersonal skills. I am a graduate in teaching methods. I have good critical, analytical skills. I have plenty of work experience. I have a rich personal library. I have supportive academic mentors. I am young and healthy. I have a caring family.
Great. Thank you, Kasturi. So these are all examples, sample strengths of teachers, college teachers. So any one of them, for instance, you take the first one, for instance. I have a passion for teaching. I became a teacher not because there was a vacancy, not because I did not get some other job. I wanted to be a teacher and I am a teacher. Because my heart is here, I am a teacher. Because my passion has always been to teach at a college and I have become a teacher, and that's fulfilling my passion. And passion takes you anywhere. Passion is one single simple quality that everyone needs to achieve any goal. Short term, long term, big, small, whatever. So if I have to achieve something in life, I need to have passion for that. I cannot do anything without putting my heart into it easily. As long as I consider something work, as long as I consider something a responsibility, as long as consider something thrust upon me, and if I do it unwillingly, impassionately, I think there is very little that I can achieve. But once I am passionate, so somebody told you that I retired long ago and I'm 70 years old now. So if I'm doing this program, this is out of passion. There is nothing else in this, isn't it? So passion is one important quality of every successful person. So I have a passion for teaching. I'm a teacher and I love this. I love what I'm doing. There are only, I think somebody said, there are only two ways of being happy. Either get a job that you want or enjoy the job that you're doing. There's no third way. So to be happy. So if you get a job that you want, fine. Otherwise, you enjoy whatever you are doing. Anyway, coming back to this. So I have a passion for teaching is a strength. Look at any one of them and then ask yourself, I have plenty of work experience. So experience is always a strength because I already have experience. I can do better tomorrow. Experience is internal. I have already gained this. I have 5 years of successful teaching experience. I have taught this subject already. And I go to my class tomorrow with that experience that I've already gained. I know how to handle this. I know how to answer this question. I know when to ask a question and all this. That I mean, I'm comfortable with the subject. I'm comfortable with my classroom. I'm comfortable with the methodology that I'm using. I know the subject already. So because of that work experience, that's my strength, and that's helping me become a better teacher. Condition. If I'm using it to become a better teacher, to fulfill the goals that I've set for myself as an academic teacher. I'm young and healthy. Again, my age, plenty of future potential opportunities will come later. But right now, I'm young, I'm healthy. A healthy teacher can always do much better than an unhealthy teacher. So I have to take care of my health and I already enjoy good health. That's a strength. Okay, before I move on to weaknesses or the one activity that we'd like to do you have any questions about this? Anything that you agree with, anything that you do not agree with, anything that you would like to seek a clarification about? No, thank you so much. So we'll do a very simple activity. What we'll do is think and write one or two of your academic strengths. So in your notebook, in case you have a notebook, if you do not by chance have a notebook, if you have a mobile phone, you can write a note, or maybe you can even just think. So think and list some of your academic strengths. What can you do well to achieve your goals, or what do you already have to achieve your academic goals? And when you are ready, maybe leave that, maybe share with the class. Tell us. If you raise your hand, I'll call you. The middle one you can leave, that discuss. So list your strengths and share with the class. Mary, yes, please.
Sir, one is honesty and integrity, and an independent learner. As and when time demands, as you had put, updated, upskilled. So having that outlook and trying to get myself updated so that I can be a better teacher.
Mary, you said you are an independent learner. What exactly do you mean?
For example, sir, a simple example, like when we suddenly switched on into a lockdown mode and we had to deliver things on an online mode, and we, the talk started off from the month of April end onwards, how we are going to deliver in case if this continues. How are we going to start off with the new semester? How do we teach the students? How do we engage? So there were a lot of ideas being poured in, people giving suggestions. And so slowly, I just started exploring since we have Google with us. So I just started exploring the internet and just seeing what are the possibilities we could do to make, an online class. And it's just not monologue. Like I sit in front of the screen and I'm just lecturing, but how am I going to engage my audience? So that way, how I was using the G Suite, the Jamboard, the Google Drawing, the different other technologies, applications that are there related to teaching tools, which I can incorporate into my teaching. So most of it, I was just learning and upgrading myself, because for an institution becomes very difficult to train, say, 200 staff. It becomes very difficult for them also, to train us in every aspect and then to check whether we have, attained a few of those skill sets. So it's a challenge for them. So we need to understand that. So we need to, from our personal side, put in our effort to, do it better.
Thank you so much. I think that's a wonderful perspective that you've developed, and then I think that's a great strength. Yes, so ability to learn on one's own and taking the responsibility for upskilling ourselves is wonderful. Ajay raised his hand. Ajay, I think 4 or 5 of you have raised hand. Ajay? Are you there? Mohammed Zain, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, please.
So actually, the strength of mine is the patience level. One is, I can say that I'm the most patient teacher, and discipline. I have a very much determination to do a thing, and I'm a very dedicated faculty member.
Very good.
These are my
Sanjeev, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I am very much updated to the technology. See, every day I have to go for teaching and saying something in front of that good old things to my student. So while I go before that, I am very much updated to that technology.
Right.
So what are the things going on recent in research, or what are the technology people has already adopted, that I start with that. So my main goal is to teach the same old thing to my student. But while I start with that new things that is adopted, human adopted technologies or something recently going on in the research. So my student get interested very much on it. So that is, I think it's a one ESP, you can say. One of that.
I think Sumana raised her hand. Sumana, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, please.
Sir, I think that I am very friendly in class.
Oh, good.
And sir, I am responsible and also unbiased.
Great.
And
Wonderful.
sir, I am also a tech savvy person, so I generally try to teach my students using PowerPoint presentations. I try to show them some videos.
Excellent. What subject do you teach, Sumana?
Sir, English.
Oh, great. So anyway, I think some 4 or 5 hands are risen further, but maybe we can stop here because we've got an idea of how to look at ourselves. So the whole idea is I'm not trying to know your strengths. I'm trying to help you look at your strengths, so to discover your strengths. So maybe I gave a list of questions. You can add to those questions. You can increase the number of questions there. So how do I know? Who told me? Did I tell myself? Is there any objective evidence to prove? For instance, if somebody said, I have updated myself, I have done this. If I say I'm friendly, for instance, someone has said, I'm a friendly person. So how do I know that I'm friendly? Are there more students around me than there are with other teachers? What effort have I made to become friendly? Or what effort people have seen in me to call me friendly? Am I a friend or friendly? All these things. So if this is an attempt to assess ourselves, this is a self-analysis, self-evaluation. SWOC is a self-evaluation. both from internal perspective and external perspective. So I'm very happy that all of you are on the right track. We will break for...
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So welcome back to the class. And then this is the second part of the presentation. Now that you know the structure that I've been using, perhaps it will be easier for me to move forward a little faster. What have we done with strengths? So first we saw what is a strength. We saw a definition. And then I gave you this list of questions that you can see on the screen, which will help you analyze your strengths. Then I gave you a list of strengths. So a short list of some examples of strengths. Then I gave you some example sentences or statements which teachers can make about themselves to declare their strengths. And finally, we did a very simple activity to discover our strengths. So this is the strategy that we've used for strengths, and the same strategy perhaps we'll use for the other three situations also. I think that's okay. In case you have any questions, same I told you in the beginning, you can stop me at any point, and then you can ask your question or seek a clarification, whatever, that continues. So the second set of situations. So these are weaknesses. So we began with a definition. What was the definition? An internal inhibition. Something I do not have, or something that I have that is stopping me, which is preventing me from progressing in the direction in which I want to go, which is preventing me from achieving the goals that I want to achieve. So here are a list of questions that you see on the screen, and the answers to these questions are our weaknesses. Would anybody like to come forward to read them? Anyone who has not spoken so far?
May I, sir?
Yes, please.
What skill, knowledge, resource do you lack? What skill would be built or improved? What do you avoid doing? What do you others see as your weakness? What are your negative work habit? What is your competitive and disadvantages?
Thank you, Girija. Thank you very much. So these are some questions. Again, not a complete comprehensive list, but maybe a short list of questions which are easy to ask. And if you probe deeper and get answers to these questions, the answers are your weaknesses. For instance, what do you avoid doing? So if there is something that you always avoid doing, your principal asks you to do, for instance, organize a meeting or organize or to anchor at the annual day program. So you are shy of coming on the stage and then speaking to the public, going before a huge audience. Your skills have never been tried there. So because you are avoiding doing that, perhaps there is a reason why you are avoiding that. That could be your weakness. I don't want to teach a certain subject. So within my subject, there are 10 areas. So one area I'm avoiding. Why am I avoiding? Because maybe my ability to teach that area, I'm not very confident with that. My lack of confidence, there is a word for that in English, diffidence, D-I-F-F-I-D-E-N. Diffidence is the opposite antonym of confidence. So if I am diffident about something, that could be my weakness. Diffidence is an unreadiness, right? I'm not willing to do that. I'm not confident to do that. So that diffidence itself could be, for instance, there are people who can speak well, but they are scared of speaking in public. Their English is good, but they think their English is not good. So that kind of mental block also could be a weakness. What skills could you build or improve? There is something that I already have this, but not enough. It's not in adequate measure. My English is good, but not great. So there is an opportunity for me to build my English further. So here right now, as of today, that's a weakness. Tomorrow it can be an opportunity. Tomorrow it can be a challenge, whatever. But today it's a weakness because my English is not good and I'm working in a place where English is necessary and I've not done anything to improve my English. My English has remained stagnant or whatever, and I've not done anything to improve my skills further, my qualifications or whatever. Your negative work habits. What are negative work habits? So, I mean, all the opposites of the strengths that we see. For instance, if you're not punctual, if you're not regular, if your management skills are bad, if your space management is bad, if your time management is bad, if your resource management is bad, if your ability to get along with your colleagues is bad, if you have ego issues, or you do not know how to handle people. So these are all lack of skills that you are you are wanting, and because of that your ability to progress in your career is limited, or the doors get closed. So your negative work habits also can be: I don't take my work very seriously, I'm not very passionate, I came here by force, or maybe because of the circumstances I was pushed into this profession. My heart is not here. I always wanted to be this. I always wanted to be this. Because I could not find anything else, I've come here. I'm not able to put my soul, my heart into what I am doing here. I mean, I'm doing it with lackluster. I mean, zero passion there in that, forcibly working in my career, right? So these are all questions. If you, I mean, whenever you attempt a SWOC, I'll tell you at the end of my session today, but don't do it in a hurry. Take a lot of time. Ask each one question very objectively and probe deep into yourself, and then rely on the feedback that you've got, rely on the answers that you get, and then only then you decide what your weaknesses are. And once you know your weaknesses, we have seen that wise walk. So once you know your weaknesses, you can have a strategy to overcome them. So I'll show you a list of some examples. Again, I've chosen adjectives, which can be in the form of nouns also. I would like one more person to read all of them.
Sir, may I?
Please, Devashis.
So, typical weaknesses: aggressive, arrogant, bossy, chaotic, closed-minded, complaining, contemptuous, cynical, fearful, hesitant, ignorant, impatient, impulsive, indifferent, insensitive, irresponsible, lazy, moody, negative, negligent, passive, prejudiced, and reckless, rude, shallow, short-sighted, short-tempered, shy, stubborn, undisciplined.
Thank you, Ma. As you can see, most of them are related to you not only as teachers, but as just human beings. Most of these qualities are weaknesses in any person, not only in teacher. But some of them relate to your profession, particularly very specifically. For instance, if you are lazy, if you are undisciplined, if you are ignorant about your subject, if you are ignorant about the abilities and strengths of your students, and if you are unplanned, complete. I mean, these are all, I mean, basic human qualities that can stand as, that can work as your weaknesses. Some of them are relevant to your teachers. For instance, I've been just giving the same example from the beginning. My inability to speak English, my lack of English, my lack of good command over English language. So that can be in a certain situation where I need to use good English. So it can be my weakness. So I'm not a kind of an organized person. I don't keep things properly. I don't manage my shelf or cupboard or whatever that I have at the college. I don't plan my things properly. I don't plan my lessons. I'm quite chaotic about my things. These are all things that that can work as my weaknesses. Many of them are not teacher specific, academic specific, but I mean general weaknesses. Moving on from here, I'll show you some example statements of teacher weaknesses. Again, I would like one volunteer to read them.
Sir, may I?
Yes, please, Upasana.
Sample weaknesses. Teaching was not my first priority. I have limited subject knowledge. I have no teaching experience. I'm not familiar with teaching methodologies. My English is not perfect. I am lazy. My attention span is short. I am low in self-esteem. I am annoyed with difficult questions. I spend a lot of time commuting.
Thank you, Upasana. All these are academic, all these are teacher related. The examples that you see on the screen are teacher weaknesses, exclusively for teachers. For instance, I have limited knowledge of my subject. I teach statistics. My own knowledge of statistics is limited. Maybe I studied statistics when I was a postgraduate student 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and I have not updated myself, as you've seen in one of those quiz questions, because my knowledge is shallow, my knowledge is superficial, my knowledge is not profound. I certainly, stand to lose a lot. I cannot achieve my goals, whatever my career goals are. I want to become the best teacher. How will I become the best teacher if my subject knowledge is low? No. So this is a kind of a weakness. Then I already told you about my English is not perfect. I'm lazy. I'm not organized. I'm low in self-esteem. So some people overrate themselves. Some people underrate themselves. Both are, extreme. Both are sad. Both are wrong also. So when I evaluate myself, if I overrate myself, I become egoistic, I become arrogant, I become proud, and then I think there's nothing else for me to learn, and I neglect things. If I underrate myself, my confidence level will be very low, and I think I'm not capable of doing anything, and then everybody looks to me much more brilliant than I am, and then naturally my self-esteem will further go down. So being low in self-esteem can be a teacher weakness. So you must assess yourself objectively and decide where you are, what can improve, what you need not improve, it's not relevant to you, etc. I am annoyed with the difficult questions. I had many teachers like this in my own life. So especially when I was at school, there were many teachers who never encouraged questions in the class. It could be because of our culture, Indian culture, perhaps in the last 100 or 200 years. I don't know about the Vedic period, but in the recent times at least, classrooms have not encouraged a questioning environment. Students typically are asked to shut up and then sit down quietly. Discipline means silence in Indian classrooms. As I told you, during the last 7 decades that I've seen, in most classrooms, at least the schools where I studied, I don't know where you studied, what kind of freedom you had, you are younger generation. Maybe classrooms have improved a bit, but at least when I was there, teachers always ridiculed, insulted students who asked questions. Anyone who rose hand, anyone who asked a question was some kind of a rebel those days. So suppose I continue that kind of an attitude in my class, I am annoyed with any question. So I don't know how to say, I don't know. There are many teachers, no? So if suppose students ask a question and they don't know the answer, and they don't know how to say, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer. Well, let's discuss that. Let me check. Let me come back to you. Or why don't you try to answer that question? Does any student know an answer to this question? These are wonderful ways of handling the questions about, to which you do not know the answers. So this comes a little with experience, but more with an attitude, the right attitude. Many teachers think, no, this fellow is asking me a question. I do not know the answer. He is trying to test me, or some such presumption they make. And they feel insulted. They don't know how to say, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to this question. Thank you for asking that question. I never thought like that. Oh, I never thought of this. Oh, this is good. This is setting me thinking. I'll certainly do some research on that and come back to you tomorrow. How wonderful that would be if you can say that. So if I get annoyed, I think that's a great weakness in my academic career as a teacher. I spend a lot of time commuting. So my house is located very far from my home, maybe an hour and a half in the morning, an hour and a half in the evening. I need to travel and then need to commute. So this is a problem with me. This is a weakness with me. How you can convert that into an opportunity, or how we can become a challenge? Maybe you can think of ways. We'll see that later. But right now, there's a problem with me. This is something I'm not able to resolve. So this can be a weakness to me. Personal. All these are within you. All these you have control over. I told you strengths and weaknesses are things that you have control over. You can change them if you want, if you make an effort. My English is not perfect, I can improve. I'm lazy, I can become more disciplined. My attention span is part. I know I need to learn how to focus. I'm low in self-esteem. I need to take a lesson in confidence building, becoming self-confident. I'm annoyed with difficult questions. I am responsible for that. I have to have a way. I have to develop a way of handling difficult questions in the class. So all these things are inside me. All these things are my weaknesses, right, created by me, and I can overcome them if I want to, if I have a strategy to. And if you don't know a strategy, somebody can help you overcome them, or maybe you can help yourself better. Any questions so far? Anything that you do not agree with? Okay, let's move on. Anyway, I mean, I'm not going to ask you to tell us in the public what your weaknesses are, because some of you may not like to share your weaknesses with others, but you can just write in a notebook 1 or 2 academic weaknesses that you think are stopping you from achieving more than what you are already achieving. You can write 1, 2, 3, as many as you think you can. I'll give you 2 minutes. Good. Kasturi has finished it. And maybe most of you have finished it. Maybe I'm not asking you to share with the class, but if anybody voluntarily would like to come forward to share any one of the weaknesses that you think you have, and you also would like to think of a strategy to overcome that, you can share with the class. Open. I mean, it's not compulsory.
Sir, I can share.
Yes, please.
Sir, I'm a very slow learner actually. That is a very problem with me, and it has been a problem with me as a teacher and a student. I have to put much effort. I am excessively clumsy, emotional, and overthinking. So sometimes it hinders my, receiving and also giving capacity. And I hate crowds, because of which usually I avoid any kind of things that is going in the college where there is an involvement of the crowd. Maybe it's the morning assembly, or maybe it's a meeting or everything. I usually avoid. And for that, actually, sometimes I get into some negative books with my colleagues or my seniors. So I have tried to explain to them that I usually avoid crowd because it gives me kind of a crowd. I have a crowd fear. So, and when they say so, or they say something, I get overly emotional and overthink, even if they might not be doing it, like to just trying to help me out. So
Thank you, Kasturi. That's a very long list you've compiled within a short time about your weaknesses. But I must tell you something here. From after listening to you about your weaknesses, I know your strengths. How? You have one great strength. What is that? You know your weaknesses. That itself is a strength. Knowing one's weaknesses is the biggest strength. So there are many people who do not know their weaknesses, unfortunately. And if I do not know, suppose you go to a doctor and you don't tell the doctor what your ailment is, what the problem is, the doctor cannot help you. Nobody can help you rather. So if you don't tell him where it's hurting you, what medicine can he give you? So if you know, knowing my strengths is a very big advantage, a big strength. So thank you, Kasturi, for sharing those weaknesses with us. And then some of them are not very serious weaknesses. You can easily overcome them. There are 1 or 2 perhaps for which you need a strategic approach. Let me tell you here, I'm not going to discuss today in my class strategies to handle these SWOC. you might have already noticed, I'm not telling you how to handle this, how to handle this. I'm only telling you how to discover them. I'm stopping there. Maybe you can have one more class sometime later to handle each one of the weaknesses, each one of the strengths, how to further exploit them, avoid them, overcome them, etc. How to move forward after we have made a list of all these items. Okay, thank you very much. Just 1 or 2 minutes let me spend on talking to you about weaknesses. What really happens is people think my life should not have any weaknesses. I don't want any difficulties. I don't want any barriers in my success. Life is not like that. Life is like that ECG. So like that heartbeat, ups and down must be there. Everybody's career is like that. And so this is something that you can do. So I told you I'm not discussing strategies, but there is only one slide in my entire presentation, especially because some weaknesses, people think that they are very serious, especially those who are very young as teachers, no? So those who are in their first year of career. So when they begin teaching, everything hurts them, everything disillusions them, everything frustrates them. And I mean, they get so very disappointed with things, though getting upset with things, that they sometimes even leave the profession. So for such people, so there is a strategy here. First, know your weaknesses. Vow to yourself. So yes, I am going to overcome this. That one single resolution, one single determination is enough to take you forward. Many people, I mean, do not make that courage to tell themselves, yes, I can handle this. This is not a problem. I can overcome this. I know how to overcome this. Or I have people who can help me with this. So that vowing to stop yourself itself is a big advantage. So restrain yourself, congratulate yourself every time you succeed. So every time you improve on that quality, every time you overcome any one of your difficulties and weaknesses, you congratulate yourself and persist. Don't lose heart. Maybe the first time you fail, the second time you fail, and continue working that. So maybe this kind of slides perhaps unique for everyone, and they need to be detailed in very long, detailed discussion is necessary. But I mean, today, as I told you already, this is not the focus. Okay, coming to the third one, the third situation. Is this internal or external opportunities?
External.
Who is responsible for your opportunities? Who gives?
Sir, maybe public policy, maybe public policy,
the public
maybe
policy,
environment,
outside
yes.
world, right?
Yes,
So can I have a volunteer to read them? Read the questions. Somebody raise your hand, or maybe you can switch on your microphone and speak.
Sir, may I?
Yes, Sumana.
What opportunities to learn are open? What situations can you take advantage of? Do you have mentors to help or guide you? What other failures can you exploit? Have you any solutions to others' problems? Is there an unfulfilled need around you?
Good, wonderful, Sumana. Thank you. So these are some questions, and the answers to them are your opportunities. Every question had some possible answers, and if you can list all the answers to such questions, and of course, as I always have been repeating, so this is only a very sample list. There are many other questions that you can ask yourself. So you can compile a list of all such answers, and those answers are your opportunities. Let's take a look at one or two of them. What opportunities to learn are open to me? So as a teacher, are there any opportunities to me to learn my subject, to learn the teaching methodology, to learn classroom management, to learn things relating to my academic career, right? Can anybody tell me what opportunities do you really have? Can you list some 3 or 4 opportunities that you have to improve as a teacher? Your subject knowledge, or your management skills, or your classroom related skills?
So currently attending this FIP and listening to you itself is an opportunity.
Excellent, Mary. I think you've hit the nail on its head perfectly right, straight. So this FIP itself is your opportunity. So this opportunity is given by the outside world to me. Outside world in the sense, maybe the central university or somebody, the UGC or government of India, somebody is giving it to me. So what happens? So when an opportunity like this comes to me, I can do two things. One, oh, here is a wonderful opportunity for me to grow up, to improve my career related skills, to become a better teacher. So let me accept this, let me jump at it, apply and get a seat and then do it. There can also be someone, oh, this is all, I'm not interested, I cannot spare so much time, I do not have this kind of interest, and I can let it go. So this opportunity becomes an opportunity only if I leverage it, if I use it. If I do not know how to use it, it's just a situation, that's all. The FIP begins, the FIP closes, I'm not attending it. Or I have taken admission into it, I just give my attendance and go away. I switch off my camera, I sit away, I don't participate, I don't answer questions, I'm not interested, I just sit there, I want a certificate. That's all. So it's up to us whether we are using an opportunity or not is completely up to us. It depends on my strengths, my passion, my willingness, my preparedness, and so many other factors. I can just switch off my mobile phone, I can switch off my microphone here, and I can take calls, I can engage myself in something else while this is happening. Or suppose somebody thinks, oh, I am not going to be a teacher forever. Anyway, this year I'm here, next year I'm searching for some other job, I want to leave. That's why all these FIPs, FDPs and all that, it's a waste of time, it does not relate to me. So, I mean, the opportunity knocked at your door, you did not open the door, it went away. Clear? So I must first ask myself what opportunities to learn are open. Mary has rightly said FDPs, FIPs, etc. are my opportunities. Similarly, the books in the library are my opportunities. The online courses that are there are my opportunity. An institute next door is my opportunity. A senior colleague in my department is my opportunity. A knowledgeable person anywhere is my opportunity. The lecturer who taught me at my post-graduation in the college or university where I studied, he is my opportunity. These are all my opportunities. The mentors that I can have, the colleagues that can help me, the supportive, anybody for that matter, any physical resource or any development outside. A university opening outside is my opportunity, right? A new assignment in the same college where I am working is my opportunity. Suppose there is an NSS wing, or there is an NCC program in your college, some such thing. There is a sports department. If you are interested and if you accept the responsibilities and assignments, they can be your opportunities to grow. Clear? Should opportunities always be offered by others, or can we create our own opportunities also?
We can create, sir.
We can create opportunities on our own. If there is no library here, I can go to a place where there is a library, right? If I am not in touch with somebody who can help me, I can Google for someone who can help me, right? If I cannot afford to pay a fees for a course that I need, maybe I can join an online program. Do you all know what is SWOC?
Yes, sir.
Can anybody
Yes,
please
sir.
explain to me what is that? What is SWOC? Kasturi, can you tell us what is SWOC?
So it's an online platform where we can learn from the recorded lectures from the various universities, IITs and everywhere. They put it on the platform, and there we can attend the classes accordingly. We have the multiple choice questions, and at the end of the course, we have to sit for an exam. So that way we can earn a certificate for ourselves as well.
How much does the course cost?
Sir, I think it doesn't cost anything. I think we only need to pay for the examination, end examination.
Thank you, Kasturi. I think if there is anybody in this class who does not know about SWOC, please visit that. What Kasturi said is 100% right. You can do any course.
And sir, on SWAYAM platform, they take 1,000 rupees as to generate the certificate. Recently, I did a PG diploma remote sensing GIS course of 6 months. I had to, after each sessions, there were approximately 4 units which we had to attend it, and each unit contains some minor topics. And when we completed that topics, there were MCQ questions, as Kasturi told. We have to gain marks. After that, we have the computer based exam, the final exam. When we qualify the computer based exam, then they consolidate both the marks, that is the MCQ marks and the this marks which we have given on the computer based exam. They have it also consists MCQ only, and after giving the exam, we get the certificate.
Thank you, Kasturi and Ritu, both of you, for enlightening us about what this SWAYAM is. There are many other platforms also like that. SWAYAM is created by Government of India and it has been there for quite some time. Teachers like us can benefit from it. So like they said, there is hardly anything that we need to pay in case we do not need a certificate. Only when we write an examination and earn a certificate, maybe we have to pay a very small fee, which is, I think, insignificant, very small amount. Suppose I want to do a course, I need a certificate. I mean, I don't need to pay anything at all. I can just register, take the course, and earn knowledge. How wonderful that is. I think if teachers want to utilize it, it is readily available. That's the opportunity. So what do I do with that opportunity? If I exploit it, it's mine. If I don't use it, I don't even know what SWAYAM is. It's there, that's all. It's just a door that's not opened. I think you can explore. There are hundreds. Somebody talked about earlier about how they learned, how they are independent learners, self-learners, how they learned PowerPoint slideshows on their own, how they use the latest technologies on their own. So much is available. There are hundreds of ways in which we can equip ourselves, and those hundreds of ways are already there in the outside world. All that I need is a kind of a resolve, determination, commitment, passion, interest. If I have them, I open the door and then accept that. Do you have mentors to help and guide you? The third one, for instance. So every teacher must underline the word must have some mentors. I cannot lose touch with the department. I cannot lose touch with the university where I studied. I must be in touch with them. Or I can create alumni associations for my own students. I can be in touch with my students who progress in their career, and then I can do that. Even a WhatsApp group will help. A WhatsApp group with your students after they have left the college. And maybe they are in various different departments, and then they continue to look up to you as their resource, as their strength. How wonderful that would be. Not to boast of myself, I do many such things to keep in touch with others. One of the groups, WhatsApp groups that I created for English lecturers is already 6 years old. And we have created for ourselves a wonderful platform where we debate things, we question ourselves with each other, and then we gain from each other. We share resources, we share our success stories, and lots of other things that we do. I might have done, again, not less than 35-40 courses online or distance mode, or maybe whatever mode. After I became a teacher, that was long ago, of course. I told you already that I became a lecturer when I was 22, and I worked for 36 long years in government and retired 13 years ago. And during all these 40-50 years of my career as a teacher or as a teacher trainer, there have been learning opportunities always. Even those days, long ago also, there was a distance mode B.Ed. There was a distance mode M.Ed. There was a blended mode postgraduate diplomas those days. I had to, for instance, when I did a course at English and Foreign Languages University, it was called CFLU then, now it's called EFLU. So the PG diploma was a 12-month online course and 1 month interactive course. Physical presence was needed. So, there are all kinds of opportunities like that. Right. So look at some more. Have you any solutions to others' problems? Somebody else has a problem. That college has a problem. This department has a problem. My colleague has a problem. They are not able to move further. And then I help them. That is my opportunity. So when I worked on finding a solution to somebody else's problem, actually I'm putting my creative talents to use, and I'm trying to find a solution. It helps them, and because I've tried to find a solution, I'm improving myself. That's my opportunity. I can go there and then tell them that this I can do. Okay, is there any unfulfilled need around you? So there is something nobody is doing. There is a department of the college which nobody is going to head. Maybe a NAC accreditation or some such thing, and then there's nobody willing to take the lead there, and then you can step in if you have the courage, and then if you have the confidence, if you have a little prior knowledge, if you want to gain experience, and if you think that you can get support from others, jump in, accept that. These are all the kinds of opportunities. Yes. Maybe I'm not going to trouble you asking you to write down your opportunities, but you can just take a look at the slide. So what can you do after going home? You can try this. Every kind of a political development relating to academics can be an opportunity. The new education policy. If you know the new education policy, so what are the things that I can use for my career growth? What are there any things in the new education policy that will help me with the kind of skills that I have, with the kind of strengths that I have, but that will help me progress? So that is my opportunity. Political developments, economic developments. So what are the kinds of economic? I think I'm sure you're aware that the allocation that happens in the national budget to higher education has been gradually going down in terms of ratio. So this is a serious hazard. Maybe in future, perhaps there will be only private universities, private colleges, private education institutes, etc. Then in that situation, what is going to be my career like? So I can visualize that. If there is something that I can use, right, that is my opportunity. Similarly, social developments, technological developments, legal developments, environmental developments. I highlighted the first letter to give you an acronym which will be easier for you to remember. PESTLE, P-E-S-T-L-E. PESTLE stands for political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. So always ask yourself, what's this PESTLE thing that's happening around you? Governments change, policies change, and legal procedures change. I know in my lifetime, at least 10 different courses that were opened by universities and were withdrawn. There was something called BCA. This was about 20-25 years ago in my state. I am from Telangana, I am from Hyderabad. So there was a course called BCA. It was a 3-year course. And the government introduced it, and within 1 or 2 years, they withdrew this course. So my career depends upon the government policies. I am helpless. The government took a decision, and the government took another decision. A new government takes another decision. One government comes and then implements English medium, and another government comes and does away with that and then says everything will be taught in Hindi. So this is an external situation which is either helping me or hampering me. If it's helping me, it's likely to help me, it's an opportunity. So what are the economic developments? So what is happening in other countries? What happens in Ukraine, for instance, also affects us. Maybe I had a career opportunity there. If it's good, so suppose the war ends tomorrow. Maybe there is a wonderful opportunity for me to go there and work in some other university, earn more money and earn greater name, and then do more research and some such thing. So it's again an external situation. I have nothing to do with the Russia-Ukraine war, but it can affect my career. My institute, my university, my college or my university is going to start a new department. Another university is coming up, etc., etc. So similarly, technological developments. So much is happening in the field of technology. Every day, what was yesterday the latest is becoming obsolete today. So today is already yesterday. Technology is developing so fast. Right. So these are some things that maybe you can do this exercise after going home, and you can think of all the opportunities that you have for your career growth. Opportunities are like this. Can anybody explain this picture to me?
May I, sir?
Sanjay, please.
Yeah, if bamboo scattered everywhere, so nobody can climb on it. But if it is organized, so one can climb. That's what the picture is saying.
Beautiful, lovely. So the man on the left has lots of opportunities, but he doesn't know how to use opportunities. So all those ladders are scattered all around him. He needs only one ladder, but he doesn't know how to use that. So despite having thousands of opportunities. So have you ever heard teachers say, oh, I'm working in this rural college, I'm working in this kind of a college, that kind of a college, I don't have any opportunity, I could not do anything because of this, because of that, I was not allowed. Have you seen people complaining like that? You might have seen many. Or you could be one of them, possibly. So what is the problem there? So it is not the unavailability. For instance, we just discussed about SWAYAM. Is there anyone in this world who does not have access to SWAYAM? Can any teacher say, no, sir, I don't know how to acquire another degree? No. Wherever you are, don't say, sir, we do not have good Wi-Fi here, or I do not have data connectivity here, my college does not know, or I don't have time. These are all excuses. If I have the will, I will find a way. And the way is already there, luckily. All that I need, I have to have the will. And the man on the right, he constructed that ladder himself. He made a ladder for himself with all the pieces of food that he had there. That is how people work to suit the circumstances, to make the best of what they have, to utilize the opportunities, to achieve the target for both of them is to look beyond the wall. What's there beyond the wall, they would like to see. Both of them. One, despite having opportunities, not able to achieve that. One, even if he did not have the opportunities, he has created his own opportunities. This is what is called leveraging the opportunity. If the quotation at the bottom is, if opportunity does not knock at your door, you build a door, or you be alert and ready to open the door. Right. Okay, I'll leave this. Coming to the last one. Challenges analysis. So how do we know the challenges that are outside? Again, it's exactly the opposite of opportunities. I want one volunteer to read them, please.
May I, sir?
Yes, please.
Challenges analysis. What trends could harm your interests? What obstacles do you currently face? What are your competitors doing? Is the demand for your strengths declining? What challenges arise from your weaknesses?
I think the last question answers somebody's point, the point that was raised by somebody earlier. Anyway, let's go to some of them. What trends could harm your interests? Trends, again, remember that the word PESTLE, P-E-S-T-L-E. Do you remember that? Political, economic, social, legal, environmental, all those considerations, no? So all those situations. So whatever is happening in the outside world, can it harm my interests? My college is getting closed. There are no admissions happening in my college, right? Already, maybe the first year, very few students took our. The course that I teach do not have any takers. So there was a time when civil engineering, electrical engineering were in great demand. Maybe the courses are gradually attracting fewer students. So is there a harm there? I mean, I'm not evaluating that course. I'm not saying that course is bad. I am one of those people who believe that those are very, very fundamental engineering courses and they will have a lifetime value. But I mean, off that point, is there anything that's happening in the world which can harm my interests? In the educational world, in the social world, in the environmental world, etc. Right? Things that can come in the way of my career progress. What are your competitors doing? So if there are a few people in your own department, or maybe in your environment or in other colleges, are they doing something that can become a very serious competition to you? You have not published any journal, any articles in the journal, others are publishing. If everybody is publishing and you are not publishing, and if publications are going to be essential to succeed in your career, I think you have a problem there. Not doing anything also can be harmful sometimes. So if your competitors should be, because they are going tomorrow, if there is going, for instance, I'll give you a very simple example. Suppose there are 5 people working in a department and all 5 of you are equally qualified, and maybe after 2 years there is going to be a vacancy in the position of the head department. So you must be aware, what are the other 4 people doing in a department? If you lag, if you don't do the kind of things that they are doing, maybe that position will not be available to you when it comes. So for instance, just now I told you, they are publishing papers, you are not doing it. They are guiding some students for PhD, you are not doing it. They are doing a PhD, you are not doing it. They are reading books, you are not doing it. They are accepting additional responsibilities in the college and you are limiting to your teaching, classroom teaching. They are accepting a vice principal position, you are not accepting it. So what's it that others are doing, you are not doing, and this can hamper your opportunity and this can be a challenge to you. Right? Are there any challenges that arise from your weaknesses? Because I cannot speak good English, am I losing an opportunity, or am I likely to face a challenge? Yeah. So because I am diffident, is there a challenge? Do I have a challenge? Because I'm lazy, that's a weakness. Laziness is a weakness as a teacher. Because I'm lazy, because I'm not organized, because I'm not punctual, because I do not have good work habits, because I'm not healthy. So of all those, because of those weaknesses, do I have any challenges ahead? So this is how you analyze your challenges. These are some sample challenges to teachers. I would like a different volunteer to please read them. The text is small, sorry. The fonts are small.
Sir, may I?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We have no PhD guides in this town. The new syllabus has content that I am not conversant with. My students are not regular and not punctual. I need to sign a contract if I take up a new job. My department has no good library. Changing trains, newer government policies, evolving methodologies. Admissions into our institution have been drastically decreasing. With rising inflation, laboratory consumables have become expensive. 2 of my younger colleagues have acquired higher qualifications, and a lot of paperwork, too many rows, not enough funding.
Right. Is there any one of these 10 that you have control over? You can change any one of them?
No.
No, you cannot change them, but you can use them, or you can prevent them, or you can have a strategy to preempt them, but you cannot change them. See, if there are no PhD guides in this town, you cannot create them. You want to do PhD, but there's nobody to guide you. This is a challenge. But there is somebody.
Sir, I could be a PhD guide.
You could be
a PhD guide.
Right.
In my subject, of course.
I don't understand. Sorry. Say that again.
Sir, I could be a PhD guide in my town.
Good. If you are a PhD guide, you are an opportunity to other people.
It is opportunity for me.
Opportunity to other people. It's an opportunity to you because you can get PhD students who need your guidance. Right? But think of a situation where you want to do PhD and there are no guides in your town. Is that a challenge or opportunity?
That's opportunity. That's challenge. Sorry.
That's a challenge. So you are a PhD student. You want to pursue your doctoral thesis, and then you do not have any guides to help you around in the neighborhood. So that is a challenge. But a challenge does not mean it cannot be overcome. A challenge means that you need to have a strategy to overcome that. Okay, there are no PhD guides in my college or in my town, so I need to locate a PhD guide outside my geographical area, maybe in the university which I left long ago, and I have to identify. Maybe it is going to cost me a little more money, a little more time, and maybe I have to travel a lot. Sorry. Sanjeev, you said something?
No, sir. Can I share something with
Please
you?
do it. Please do it.
Yeah, sorry. In my PhD experience, that's the time I want to share some words about that. Some of my ideas, my PhD guide doesn't accept it, and he said, "Oh, whatever you are doing, that do by yourself only. Don't discuss with me because I don't agree." He said like this that time. And then when I come up with a single author publications with the same idea, and then he agreed with me, and then he accepted all these things.
Okay.
Okay, this happened.
What
So
was that? Was that a
it's
strength or
become
weakness or a challenge, or
opportunity
what
for
was that?
me. That's what that day it becomes opportunity for me.
So it was
So
initially it was a challenge because your guide did not
yeah,
accept what you
initially
said.
it was challenge.
So you had
So
a
I accept
strategy.
the challenge, and then it becomes an opportunity.
Correct, correct. So you had a
Yeah,
challenge
but it
and you
took
developed a strategy. You designed a strategy.
2 to 2.5 years to do that, succeeded.
Okay, good. Appreciate.
But I did it
Wonderful,
somehow.
excellent. Congratulations, Dr. Sanjeev Nath. Right. Anyone else would like to discuss any other point there on the screen?
Sir, don't
Two.
call me Dr. Sanjeev. Call me Sanjeev. I am much junior than you.
I call everybody by name. I'm used to it. I don't know what to
And
say.
then don't call me sir also. Don't nobody. I request my colleague also. Don't call me sorry, sir.
Even I feel the same way. I would like all of you to call me Raju. You need not call me sir. And I also call you by names. Anyway, don't worry. Come back to that. So a lot of paperwork, too many roles. Look at the last one, 10th one. A lot of paperwork, too many roles, not enough funding. These can be challenges. So there is a lot of paperwork these days, no? So UGC demands something, NAC demands something, the college management needs something, the state government, the state, every day they're asking you for some paperwork. So that comes in the way of your academic progress because many of us feel that this clerical work, should not be a part of the teacher's work. So, clerks can actually take care of that. But it's thrust upon us because colleges are not fully equipped. Colleges do not have enough non-teaching staff. Generally, the principal advises the teachers to do that. So once the teacher has to do this, so a lot of bureaucratic red tape, paperwork, and all that. Naturally, our academic career is likely to be academic focus likely is to get a little disturbed. So, but that's a challenge. We have to overcome that. I have to have a strategy. I have to think of ways which can help me achieve my goal despite that. Because I know that I'm going to work on a strategy. So too many roles. Teachers have many roles. Not only the classroom teacher is the job for which you are actually paid and then you are appointed. But once you join there, you realize that it's not just the classroom management that you are required to do. You need to do a lot of other work as well. Maybe the college principal appoints you 10 different committees and the principal tells you, okay, you must do this. You must be a member of that committee. There is a discipline committee. So you be a member of that. There is a sports committee. There is an some committees. And then you have to be a part of that. Of course, for people who enjoy doing that, that becomes an opportunity. Isn't it? I love being a part of such committees, growing up as a leader. And tomorrow I want to be principal. I'm just a lecturer now. In 5 years, I'd like to be the principal. How do I become the principal of college? By gaining experience. Because tomorrow, if somebody wants to invite me as the principal of a college, they'll ask me, have you ever been in a committee? What did you do? What were your achievements there? As a sports committee member or the chairperson or whatever. So this is going to help me. If you look at it like that, it becomes opportunity. The same thing. The same thing can be opportunity for somebody. And the same thing, somebody else, oh, I wanted to be a teacher, I want to be a classroom performer, I wanted to be a presenter of subject knowledge. And then what is this? This is all irrelevant to me. I'm not interested in this. And naturally, I think you consider that a challenge. So what I'd like to tell you is the same situation can be a challenge to somebody and an opportunity to somebody else. It depends upon your perspective. Not enough funding, the college does not have funds, the government is not releasing funds, and you have big ambitions, you have big dreams. I want to establish a laboratory, I want to do something very creative with my students, but it needs funds, and if the college does not give me funds, what do I do? I remember I retired from government service 13 years ago. Before I retired, I had given a proposal to government to help me establish a language laboratory those days. I was working in a rural college, and then the government was already started establishing language laboratories, but only in government colleges. So I only in urban city college, I mean. So I was in a village. I was working in a village there. So with great persuasion, the government granted one rural language laboratory, and that came to my college. So, I mean, lack of funds can be a problem, but again, you must have a strategy. All these things are samples, and you can add to them, and you can go after going back home, you can work on this. Again, use that PESTLE board and then that PESTLE acronym you use, and reflect and then list your own challenges. What kind of challenges, what challenges are you facing? You can add more questions to the previous slide and ask yourself all those questions to arrive at your challenges. And then, of course, strategies you can plan. When you do this SWOC analysis, always remember that you must be very rigorous and very objective. I told you already, you should not overrate yourself and you should not underrate yourself. That is always a problem. So be very highly objective. Object means unbiased. Be unbiased. View from all perspectives, your own point of view and what you think of yourself, and also what others think of you. How do others rate you? For instance, if I tell myself, oh, my English is very good. Suppose I tell myself, I pat on my back and I tell everybody, my English is excellent. It's not enough. So others also must tell me. Others also must recognize that. And if I believe it, and then if others also tell me, that's strengthened. Right. So be realistic and be specific. Be very clear. For instance, if I say, my English is good. Can anybody tell me what does that mean? My English is good. What does that sentence mean?
So it means your command over the language is very powerful and strong.
Is that specific? Is that statement a specific statement? Yes or no?
No.
My English is good.
No.
How many of you think it's no, or how many of you think it's yes?
My English is good. It's only mine. I should not think about trying to draw similarity or comparison.
Okay.
Sir, it's a relative term.
Yeah, relatively.
It's a very relative term. I think, sir, it is in.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I think it is in absolute sense. It is absolute sense, and
okay, I'll expand that example. When you asked me to write my strengths, I wrote one sentence. My English is good. Full stop. Now you have to help me make it more specific. How will you do that?
How much good it is.
Okay, so one is give a rating. So my English is 5 on a scale of 10. My English is 9 on a scale of 10. So that makes it a little more specific. Is that all?
Am I able to communicate in all the forms like reading, writing? And when I talk, is the listener able to understand what I am trying to tell in its right sense?
Correct.
Sir,
thank you, Mary, and thank you others. Yeah, Dilip.
So how many books in English you have authored?
Okay. So thank you very much for all the inputs. So if I have to make that simple statement more specific, I have to be very, very clear. My English is good is too very general. For instance, I can say my reading skills, my vocabulary, my grammar, my pronunciation. What is good? When I say my English is good, what is good? Suppose I have a limited vocabulary, but I speak fluently. Is that okay? Or I have a huge, highly verbose kind of a language, and then nobody understands me, but I use all the words in the dictionary and nobody follows me. So then can I say my English is good? So I mean, again, so I have to subject my statements to all these tests. When I make a list of my strengths, I need to be highly specific. Don't make two very general statements. I am confident, I am not lazy, I am this and I am that, are too general. So when you say that, you must be very highly specific. How good is your English? Which department of English you are good? Which aspect of English, which skill of English you are conversant and fluent in? I mean, how much? All these specifics must be added to that strength statement. Similarly to your weaknesses statement also, and similarly to others also. And then priority. Suppose I have 5 strengths. So which is the best? Which is the most essential to me, and which is the one that will help me launch myself on the journey to success, achieving goals. So prioritizing also is important. Then I think this one slide is a summary of everything that I've told you so far. And if you understand this slide, if you take a screenshot of this and then if you keep it with you, perhaps I think it will help you a lot. Sorry about that. So look at the strengths. What do we do? Strengths. Strengths are good and strengths are now. Remember, there are 2 words. They are positive and now. Right now you have them. You already have them. They are not tomorrow. They are today. And they are helpful. These 2 are helpful. These 2 are harmful. So strengths are helpful. Okay. And once you know that this is an internal factor. These 2 are internal. These 2 are external. So internal, positive, helpful, good, and now. Once you know your strengths, you have to think of ways in which you need to capitalize on them. How do you how do you strengthen your strengths? How do you weaken your weaknesses? Simple logic. How do you further strengthen, further build on your strengths? How do you overcome your strengths? How do you weaken them? How do you weaken your weaknesses? And how do you exploit the opportunities? And how do you prevent the challenges? Prevent or maybe have a strategy to be preempt. How do you prevent or preempt? Prevent, P-R-E-V-E-N-T, preempt, P-R-E-E-M-P-T. How do you prevent them or preempt them, the challenges? Okay, that's about strengths. Then weaknesses. Weaknesses are bad. Weaknesses are now. You already have them. Your diffidence is already there. Your shyness is already there. Your laziness is already there. Your lack of English is already there troubling you. So something that's already there with you and already working bad on you. And it's an internal factor. You are responsible for that. And it is harmful. The ones on the right side are harmful. So this is harmful. So once you know your weaknesses, you must have a way to overcome them. How to overcome them? So you identify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strategies to overcome each one of them. For instance, my English is bad. I want to go to an institute. I want to speak more. I want to start using English at home. I want to read some magazines. I want to read stories. I want to have a guide. I want to spend more time in the company of people who know better English. I want to listen to the radio or television or whatever, and then I want to consciously make effort. All these are strategies. So identify all the strategies that you can use and that are possible, that are practicable, that are relevant to you, and then launch yourself on that. Okay. Then coming to the opportunities. Opportunities on the left side, that means they are external but helpful. This can help your career. If you exploit them, if you use them, they are going to be positive to you. Sorry. So they are good, but not now, future. Provided you know how to exploit them, they are going to be useful to you tomorrow onwards. There is an opportunity. If I use it tomorrow, it's going to be useful. Right? You register for a PhD, there is an opportunity there. If you acquire your PhD tomorrow, you are ready for some promotion. So opportunities are good, opportunities are for the future, opportunities are helpful. And once you know that, you need to have a strategy to exploit them. So my opportunity is this. How can I exploit it? You remember that picture of the ladders. So there is one ladder, or I don't have a ladder, I'm building my ladder, but one ladder I must know how to use. Suppose I have one ladder, I don't know how to use the ladder. The ladder remains unused. So I must know how to use that. And the last thing, the challenges. The challenges are in red. They are harmful to you. They are external. They are not, I did not create them. The world created them. They are bad tomorrow. They can be bad tomorrow if I don't stop them. The corona, we saw, I show you the picture of the corona. So the corona can be harmful to me if I don't take any preventive action. If I go out and expose myself, though I did not create it, I am no way responsible for that, it can affect me, it can kill me. So I must have a preventive measure. I must have something to do preemptively to so that I can counter that, I can face that, I can overcome that. So challenges need to be countered. Right. And I'm going to show you one sample chart of what teachers did, some of the teachers did, and we'll go through that. I'm again very sorry, this is a very small font, but I will read it for you. I'll read some parts of it. So somebody made an analysis like this. So somebody said, I have a passion for teaching, I have good interpersonal skills. These are my strengths. Interpersonal skills. Do teachers need interpersonal skills?
Yes, sir. Yes.
What kind of interpersonal skills do we need?
Sir, we must be able to understand each other. We must be able to recognize, I mean, a different person's weaknesses, strengths, etc., etc. We must be able to interact with others very successfully and productively and in constructive way.
Others means who?
Maybe our colleagues, maybe with our students, maybe our superiors.
Correct. Very good. Thank you, Dilip. So we need to know how to get along with people. That is interpersonal skills. So I have to get along with my students, my principal, my department colleagues, the parents sometimes, the community, etc. So I need to know how to get along with these people. I mean, because this is the platform on which I need to work. I know personally quite a lot of teachers, maybe in percentages it's very difficult to put, but a very large number of teachers who cannot get along with their department colleagues. They have ego issues, they have personality problems, they are arrogant. Some of them, either I'm arrogant or they are arrogant or whatever. And because I don't know how to handle them, so because she said something yesterday, I am going to be a lifelong enemy with them. Or because she does not help me this way, I am not going to help her. Because he does it to me, I am doing it to her. So if I have this kind of an attitude, this attitude is a strength to me. This attitude can be a weakness to me. If I have the right attitude, if I know how to get along with people, how to take support from people, how wonderful life would be, how wonderful my career would be. So getting along with people is a people skill and it can be a strength. So getting along with students, there are bound to be some mischievous students in your class, some distracting students in your class, some weak students, some dullards, all kinds of students you need to handle. Yes or no? And getting along with them needs a skill. That skill is a strength if you know how to manage it. Right. Similarly, my weaknesses, anyone, I think you saw it in the earlier slides also, similar ones. And somebody worked on the opportunities and there is a list. Somebody worked on the challenges and there is a list. So this is actually a list I compiled based on lots of responses from people like you in my earlier presentations. Now I am going to this exercise. What you do is, after going home, you can again take a screenshot if you want, or you can make a quick table in your notebooks. And what you do is, you create a template like this for yourself. Draw 4 blocks, create a table like this. Write your name. You can share it with others. You need not share it with others. It's up to you. If you think others can help you, share it with others later. But you can just keep it to yourself also. Write the date. Is the date important? Is the date on this important?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why
yes,
is
sir.
it important? Why?
Because time is one of the dimensions of the SWOC analysis. Because it is very important. As we are trying to assess ourselves on the present date, now we have already made it very clear that we have to take the present point of the time very particularly.
Thank you very much, Dilip. Thank you very much, because this is something very dynamic. If I say these 5 are my weaknesses, tomorrow they need not be my weaknesses. Some of my weaknesses perhaps have already become strengths, or maybe they're no longer relevant. Similarly, if I have listed 10 strengths, these strengths may not be relevant to me tomorrow. One of the strengths perhaps is irrelevant to me. I speak good English, but I am tomorrow going to work in a college where English is not necessary. So it remains a skill. So just because I can speak English, I told you already, it does not mean it's always a skill. Suppose I live in an environment where nobody knows English, nobody needs English. I don't have to teach English. I don't have to teach in English. And then what do I do with that? It's a skill, of course. Excellent. I'm good. But it does not serve my purpose. It does not help me in my career. So in that case, my strengths have, disappeared, or they are no longer irrelevant. They are no longer relevant. So that's why date is important. So maybe I can make a SWOC analysis today. After 6 months, 1 year, 3 months, whatever, I do one more SWOC analysis. I compare this and this. So 3 months ago, I was like this, and now I'm like this. An opportunity might have disappeared already. It came and went, unused or used, whatever. Similarly, challenges. So we talked about the Corona challenge. It's no longer perhaps there, or maybe not equally intense. So things keep changing. External situations keep changing. Internal situations also keep changing. That's why the date is important. You make a chart like this and then keep it with you. If you want to take any assistance from anybody, show it. Otherwise, you keep it with you. And then maybe after a certain time, 6 months, 1 year is a good time. I think 6 months is quite reasonable. Maybe after 6 months, you can attempt the same thing once again and compare where you progressed, where you need to further work, where you have not done much progress. I think this comparative study, you are comparing yourself with yourself. Don't remember, again, I told you, SWOC is not a comparative analysis in terms of comparing your abilities with others' abilities, your opportunities with others' opportunities. It is a personal SWOC analysis that you are trying to do today, academic SWOC. And I am comparing myself with myself, what I was 6 months ago, what I am today. I think that is beautiful. That's lovely. Do it. Right. So what am I going to do? I'm going to list my strengths. I'm going to list my skills that need to improve. The second one is the strategy, right? And set yourself some targets. So, okay, my English is bad. I'm going to improve my English language by doing this. In the next 3 months, I want to improve to this level. In the next 3 months, the next 6 months, I want to achieve this. That is setting your targets for the 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever. This kind of an action plan you have to strengthen your strengths, to overcome your weaknesses, to utilize your opportunities, and also to preempt your challenges. So I think I'll stop there. Thank you very much. We'll spend some 10 minutes discussing whatever questions you have. This is my mail address, nagaRAJU@gmail.com. And this slideshow I used is already there, available on this website, slideshare.net. Not only this slideshow, but many, many other slideshows that I created are available on that website. And in case you're interested, you can take a look at them. They're all available for free.
Nice talk, sir. Very nice talk.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you. And we can have some 2 or 3 questions.
Sir, thank you very much.
Hari Krishna, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one small query I wanted. Sir, the main focus difference between W and C. I wanted to.
Yeah, I think simply put, weakness is inside, challenge is outside. W and C. Weakness is I'm responsible. If I want, I can easily overcome that. I can have a strategy developed. But challenge is something outside. It's not within my purview, within not my district jurisdiction, not within my control to change it easily. So I can have a strategy to overcome that or prevent that to some extent. but typically I have limited control over that. Weakness is not like that. If my English is not good, I can always have a strategy to develop it. But if the government decides English is no longer necessary, English is compulsory, that is an external situation.
Hello. Hello. Yes, sir. Sir, in research, we use SWOT analysis, SWOT, SWOT. So I think SWOT and SWOC, I think these are similar.
Divakar perhaps joined a little late. I answered this question at the beginning.
Okay, sir.
We are using it synonymously. I am using the word challenges instead of threats for one simple reason. Threats sounds a little negative. The moment I call it a threat, I stop there and then I thought, oh, that's a threat. That's why it scares me. When I call it a challenge, it's a little more positive to approach it. And then because it's a challenge, I have a strategy to work. That's the only reason. There is very little difference. But the more popular term today is SWOC, SWOC.
Sir,
Yes,
so may I ask something?
Yes,
sir, depending on what I understood from the entire thing, depending on this environment, we can actually convert our challenges into opportunities. But sometimes I would not go into the lengths and breadths of what I have faced, but sometimes it happens that the challenges you are facing, there is no way to convert them into opportunities, even how hard you try. In those situations, sir, how can we, at least if we cannot convert it to opportunities, at least we can overcome it? How do we go about it?
See, you yourself said that they cannot be overcome by whatever you do. So that means the door is closed, the door is sealed. So if there is nothing that you can do, what can be a strategy? Only when you can do something. See, there is an English proverb, what cannot be cured must be endured. The government has already changed the policy. The government has already changed the policy. I cannot go to the government and plead with them in the Supreme Court and then ask them to revert to the old policy. I cannot do that. Cannot do. Once I cannot do, I have to live with the current policy. I want to live with the current development. Your principal says you must do this. The moment the principal said you must do this or get out of my college tomorrow. So I need to do it. I have to have either a strategy developed, I have to leave the college.
Correct, sir. But sometimes it becomes very tasking and mentally, frustrating when you just cannot help yourself out of the situation, Yeah, so it becomes very tasking, challenging, frustrating, and sometimes it also makes me angry. So it negatively affects in whatever I am doing. So that is where I was thinking that how can we prevent that from happening?
The answer to your question is you have a weakness. What is that weakness? You have a mind which tells you that you cannot do this. If nobody is able to, nobody can do it, I think you are justified in thinking of like that. But if others are doing it and you cannot do, I cannot face this challenge. I mean, that means there is a weakness, no longer a challenge. So my attitude is the problem.
Okay. I'll be more careful about it. So next time I face something like that, I will identify if it's a challenge or like my weakness. I'll try to identify.
I'll give you an example to answer your question. For instance, there is a trouble-making student in your class. So this student, you are not able to correct him. You are not able to set him right. He is continuously troubling you. Are other teachers also having the same problem? If all the teachers have this problem and you are not able to solve that, perhaps that's a big challenge which cannot be easily overcome at all. But suppose other teachers and the other teacher says, no, in my class is okay. So that means there is some problem with me, not with the student.
I get it, sir, now. Thank you so much.